You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, Justin Outlaw Harvey, and you can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You, in fact, can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow75. And that guy over there, the mirror screen thing always messes me up. That guy over there is at Byron Fever. How's it going, Byron?
It is going great. I have my
Did you say catch it like you're a disease? Hockey season's over, right?
Nope. Stanley Cup Finals. Everyone should be watching. Do you guys want to talk hockey?
No, never.
Stanley Cup Finals, great hockey. You got Colorado, Tampa Bay.
Melanin hockey.
I got guys on. You're more Irish than I am.
Wow. Okay. Point taken. Still don't really. I used to like hockey, and I think I've said this before, but I had this TV when I was a kid that had a little chip in the screen, like a big console TV, one of those deals, one of those jams, and it had a little tiny chip in the TV, and it looked like a puck. It did. Yeah. It looked like a puck, and it was like it would always be like lower right side, right before the goal. So it would totally throw your head off. And like, I loved hockey for a year. And then I watched hockey on that TV like twice. And then I like never watched hockey again.
It's better now. Our TVs are the
size of the rink. Yeah, it probably is much better than 4x3. Anyway, listen, first off, I got to start off kind of hot, but not hot. I have to send a personal apology. Not to you, Byron. Sorry.
Never. I would never expect one.
Never going to apologize to you ever for anything. No, I have to send an apology to someone who is a dear friend of mine. And the reason why I'm apologizing, and I'll tell you right now, that person is a world champion. A world champion who you actually ran into this weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. That person is Thunder Rosa, and also to Marina Shafir, actually, to both of them. I want to send a heartfelt apology for last week's show. Not because what I said was untrue. And listen, there's a lot of marks out there, and I just is like, man, you guys have watched wrestling for 40, 50 years. The business has been, you know what the business is about to a certain extent, but yet people who watch wrestling, and this is actually a good thing, people who watch wrestling still don't exactly know what they're watching. They still don't exactly know how a match goes. They don't understand about layouts and finishes and go home spots. And like, it's
like when reality TV came out and everyone would watch an episode of The Hills or something and say, oh yeah, it's the editing. The editing made something. They don't know.
I think it's like that guy that exposed all the magic tricks, but then he still does a magic trick in exposing the magic trick or whatever.
Penn and Teller, those guys are great.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like you know it's a magic trick now, but then they still get you somehow, and you're like, oh, wait, what? And because it's all an art, it's an art of distraction.
Fuck you!
What the hell just happened here?
Hey guys,
what up?
Candace. Oh, hi, Candace. Candace, dick fit in your mouth.
Well, that let me have a really long name.
If that was Byron asking the question, I would say it could fit in anything.
I got some
infinite.
Got some breaking news for you, gentlemen.
Yeah, talk to me.
I got some breaking news.
The Major Brothers completely slaughtered the scale, saying that the scale was wrong for the latest Legends of Lucha Libre figures. And there is irrefutable evidence provided by one Kevin Kleinrock that shows that the scale is actually correct. And he has more evidence on the way, and he's going to do a comparison, and he's going to show you. So buy the figures. Kevin, send me the figures for free. Buy the figures. Send Byron the figures for free as well.
Send me the figures.
So
Yeah,
this
don't
is
send them to me.
the newest batch that is just being released or about to be released.
Yeah, I think right now you have to wait for them to ship the pre-orders to get them from Boss Fight Direct. You can get them right now from Big Bad Toy Store, though. They're pre-orders, though, so you got to wait for them to get their stock. But what's cool with them is they don't charge until they ship the figures, which I don't think is a thing that happens with Boss Fight Direct. If I'm wrong with that, I'm sorry. I do love Boss Fight. I did order the last ones direct from them. And I do plan on ordering a Conan for sure.
Yeah,
but I
must have.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they announced. There's an Ultimo Dragon coming, some Vampiros.
Oh, they got
is that Vampiro with his old knees or the knees that he actually came to Triplemania with this year?
It depends on which one you buy. There's two different eras. And there's like a deluxe Taya that comes with Presley. Who the fuck is this guy? What the fuck?
Even cases, Jesus Christ.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to leave Meef.
How would Kevin Kleinrock spell that? Meat larf?
I don't have anything to say about any of the current wrestling topics other than that. Just that Kevin Kleinrock is right and the Major Bros are wrong, but they thought that the AEW Lucha Bros figures were better than the ones that Boss Fight did, so their opinions are suspect at best. Anyway, this is the Beholder.
They're bought. Paid for.
And listen, guys, I just want to ask you all to listen to my podcast, Another Miserable Podcast, on any podcast service that you can. And we're not beholden to any Lucha Podcast Network rules. So if you want to know what I really think about those figures, listen to that podcast. I just bury them. Actually, no one talks wrestling with me on that podcast. I'm sorry. And Meef, love you, Justin, Byron. I love you guys. Meef, I promise I'm not leaving just because you came here, but it is Ninja Turtles and not Hero Turtles. And I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Bye.
Deuces, Professor Case.
Yes. All of anyone that's listening, remember, Another Miserable Podcast. Thank you.
It's a good show. It is. That was the homie, the Lucha Gringo. See, this is what we mean when we say people have an open invite. I'm sitting here giving like a heartfelt apology to Thunder Rosa and Marina Shafir for last week's show, and Casey just comes in with way, way better stuff. But anyway, let me finish that apology so we can get on to some more interesting and recent and current and funner things. What I was saying is, like, look, people think they know the business, but then they don't understand what it is they're watching or seeing. So in doing so, and in explaining to people why Thunder Rosa was not sandbagging, I may have in fact gone a little too far in exposing the business.
A little?
Might have. I may have ruffled a few feathers when I did that, exposing the business to that level. And look, folks, it's not like I'm a wrestler. I've been at shows. I've seen people laying out matches and stuff before. I know some agents and some other people that have been around the business forever. So I understand what they're talking about when they're laying something out. And I've even, potentially tried to meet Mike is killing me.
I'm here now. Sorry, I'm here now.
Yeah,
I muted it.
I think it's when you're clicking the mute off and on. Anyway, I even was, in talks to write some wrestling material with some people. So I've done format sheets and some other stuff, and I get it. I'm not saying I'm in the side of the business or part of the business, but I understand enough of it that I can explain certain things, and may have explained a few too many, and may have gotten called out by a few people to shut my fucking trap and not expose the business like that in the future, even if I'm defending somebody.
Wait a minute.
What
Is
happens
the business not exposed enough already?
No,
literally. Don't we all know how it works anyway?
Apparently not, though, because everyone thought Thunder Rosa was sandbagging, which is not what was happening in that match. And then I got called out by a certain individual whose name I will not publicize or give any credence or credit to. And then I got kind of called out by somebody that I was being a mark because Thunder Rosa's been on the show and is a friend of ours and whatnot. But also, I will point out that there were a few things that she did that I buried. And the overall moral of the story of what I said last week was that, no, she wasn't sandbagging. Those two just weren't connecting well. And I did also get a few things wrong in my interpretation. But, you know,
I forgot to say something.
Just get about Ultimate Dragon figures.
Welcome back, Uncle Steve. I mean, Sting. Glad to see you again. My life
on Slamiversary. You're talking about his appearance on Slamiversary, right?
No, I don't watch that shit. No, I just got to say, Uncle Steve, I love you. And keep hitting people in the dick with bats, and then stepping on the bat so it hits them in the dick again. It's great work. Dustin sucks for not liking Sting. I just wanted to add an extra pro Sting voice to this podcast. Thank you.
Oh my God. Everything that's wrong with wrestling just happened on this show. I apologize to somebody. The business got exposed. We're talking about Sting like he's a good thing.
The Stinger still rules.
All wrong. All wrong. Anyway, moral of the story is I got my dick kicked in. I went a little too far. That's been known to happen on this show from time to time. This is why you got to watch live, man. So before shit gets edited out.
We've never gone too far.
I don't know. There was a whole section. There was a whole section of Krista Joseph that no one will ever see again. That aired one time and one time only live, and then the show was re-edited and re-pushed out to the world, and the world is probably better for it. I'm not.
Was it the one about his conspiracy theories?
No, no, it wasn't that. But
it's Trumpisms.
I will just say that I'm not taking down last week's show, but I do thoroughly apologize to my homegirl, Thunder Rosa, to Marina Shafir, to Aubrey as well, and anybody who may or may not have felt slighted by the fact that I completely exposed 85% of that match last week. So moving on.
Which is funny that we were all these favors, but only about 5 people watch.
Last week did a little better than that with the subject matter.
Okay.
Which may have also been why I got some interesting comments about the things that I had to say. Anyway,
Justin, LA kayfabe outlaw.
Yeah.
The kayfabe outlaw.
I don't think you can put kayfabe in my name after last week, so I will try to go back into kayfabe. Anyway,
hey, did you ever notice when Hulk Hogan? Sorry, Justin. I know the thing. When he would punch someone,
that dude is my. Go for it. Sorry.
He is from Tampa, and that's what they say in Tampa.
It's okay to say it in
all
Tampa,
of them.
Apparently.
He would put his hand over someone's head, and then he'd punch his hand.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think he was hurting all those bad guys.
To be fair, though, I much prefer to see that punch than the punch where they throw a fist beside someone's head and slap their thigh and pretend it's a knockout punch.
Oh, the Rock's
no,
uppercut hook thing where he slaps his leg.
They do a proper fist punch through, so they go past the person's face and almost open up their body. And slap their thigh, so it's almost like it's a knockout punch, and the guy spits into the air as if he's been chinned.
Look,
there's several wrestlers do that one.
As much as people like to talk shit about Disco Inferno, he's not wrong when he talks about the working punch thing, and he's not wrong to say that he actually has a good one. Somehow, for whatever weaknesses his gimmick may have had, that was not one of them. He actually has a great working punch. You know who my favorite working punch of all time is, though? Fit Finley.
Yeah.
Oh,
those
may not have been worked. That's probably why I liked them. I don't know if those were worked at all.
Like Terry Funk. I will say, Disco was a legendary jobber, so he wasn't winning, but he was still doing important segments on shows and stuff. And I would say my favorite job he ever did was to IQ Wrestler on Twitter.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, that was funny.
IQ is a legend.
Didn't Byron tell you were supposed to get an avatar that you could totally do no video, but you were supposed to get an avatar? God,
yeah, get an avatar.
Bless America. Anyway, hi Rebecca Locke. How's it going out there in Rebecca Locke world? So speaking of Thunder Rosa, her and Marina, by the way, approached things very correctly. Other than Marina liking a comment that maybe she probably shouldn't have liked, they did not really talk about anything that went down. They talked about it personally. They talked about it with other people in the promotion that needed that they needed to talk to. And there were people who were also criticizing Thunder Rosa that she did do something wrong because it sounded like she was making an apology. First of all, she wasn't. I'm making an apology. She was never apologizing. She said that her and Marina were good. And they are good. They have discussed what they needed to discuss. They have no hard feelings coming out of the match. I even said that last week, that I didn't really feel like they had hard feelings about anything that was going on in there, and that they were both telling each other to hit each other harder because that's what was getting the crowd over. They were still working the whole time. And I still firmly believe that and have no reason not to believe that. I don't know. I haven't heard that they had any type of issues at all. Personally with each other, and they put out the post where they're all good and they broke bread and made peace together. And as far as anyone who was not involved in that match, your only concern needs to be, did you like it? Or did you not like it? If you didn't like it, that's fine. Say you didn't like it. You as any type of wrestling fan, supporter, spectator, heckler, whatever, you are completely entitled to your opinion, because that's what the hell you're watching wrestling for. To have an opinion, to get excited. What's the problem, Meef?
Well, you see, the thing is fans are more interested in, if something's wrong, they've got to make it into a big problem.
About them.
Yeah, well, also about them, but also, and not actually waiting for facts to come out. And I've done it before myself, I will say this. But like now, there's just this whole like culture that people have now of just like suddenly jumping, oh my god, she's sandbagging, she's there trying to work her, she's trying to shoot on her, she's trying to do this, she's trying to do that, blah, 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 and don't know the situation. Like you said, it was literally a thing between the two of them where things weren't clicking or whatever. And like, people now turned it into this thing where like they worked up possibly Tony Khan into having a conversation, which seems silly.
I mean,
it affects the perceptions of reality, etc., and it distorts people. Because then, if you've got 60% of people commenting on the match are going, "Oh my God, Thunder Rosa needs stripping of her title," and everybody's just overreacting in the most ridiculous sense, you start going, "Oh, wait a minute."
Well, look, I think that Tony is going to put that belt on Tony Storm, because we need more Tony. We need more Tonys in AEW. Tony Schiavone is going to hand the belt to Tony Storm because Tony Khan told her to, whatever. Anyway, I think
isn't she from New Zealand? Does that count?
New Zealand.
Oh God, yeah. Say that out. Jesus.
You're not a fan of Tony Storm, me?
No. Yeah.
No, I don't find everybody's obsession with her.
I'm not obsessed with her. In fact, I've gone hot and cold on Tony a few times, but I have liked her in AEW so far. I think she does absolutely look like a superstar compared to portions of that roster. I think she to me, even more than Ruby Soho, looks like a WWE superstar that came to AEW. Yeah, she's more than Athena. And I love Athena. I think Athena's great, but I think that Tony Storm, out of those three coming in recently, looks like the biggest star. Looks like money.
She wrestled in Japan with the Stardom girls, etc., and she's wrestled in England, obviously. But she still can't throw like German suplex.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but
she was flat. She literally fell back 2 foot, and the other person rolled over her.
Yeah,
and
but to be fair, I
get really upset.
Throws him.
But I love beauty. If I hate John Moxley, I think he's fucking pointless. And wrestling wise, I don't think he's more above anything special. But the thing is I really get upset when people don't throw beautiful suplexes.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
If you're doing a suplex, it's this kind, and especially if it's a release, you can do crazy, and the other person can be in control of how they fall and roll and land and what have you, as well as you obviously helping them. But like we all three of us lived in a generation of Kurt Angle and Taz,
Look,
In the Ultimate
and
Dragon.
those were some of my
Jack
favorite
Reacher.
wrestlers are like Jerry Lynn and Taz and Eddie Guerrero and even Chris Benoit, who I know we're not supposed to say his name, but his suplex was damn good.
Yeah.
Kurt
Yeah, but
Angle,
then-
like you said, Taz was one of my favorites ever. Even Hook has a great suplex. Love it. For a kid who weighs what? My weight. How much does Hook weigh? He can't be over 178.
His hair.
I think they're all obsessed
75
with this
pounds.
snap idea. Like they all want to, like they do a snap one. So like a lot of time when Omega does a snap dragon suplex, it looks kind of weird. But like, so they all do this snap German suplex, and it's like, yeah, but spend some time like getting a good grip and getting a good positioning. Just you can do that quickly. You can do it in
It's
under
about
2
the
seconds.
showmanship. Look, if you're doing a suplex in Japan, that kind of suplex is probably going to register with the audience more. But I think if you're here in America doing a stadium show, you get some height on somebody and then bring them back and do a nice arc.
That's the other thing. I was
It's
about
going
to
to go
say.
over better with the crowd. So why
The
wouldn't
one
you
thing
do
that
it
upsets
way?
me more than anything else as well is the fact that no one does arced suplexes. So like fisherman suplex are beautiful. The dragon suplex is not supposed to be someone spiked on the head. It's supposed to lock in that wonderful part submission hold, part
After watching wrestling this week, I believe that spiking someone on the head is now just an official move. I think I saw like 20 people get spiked this week. And look, I'm here to tell you, I loved wrestling this week. I thought it was a very good week for wrestling in general because of news and backstage stuff and because of some storylines and some of the television stuff. Some shows are getting better right now. Some are getting worse.
This past weekend was insane for Los Angeles pro wrestling.
Wait, don't even go there yet because I want to finish talking about Thunder Rosa since we already started the show about
Thunder
her.
Rosa is awesome.
And we've got 2 more points to talk about with her because this is how hot
Thunder
she is.
Rosa.
First of all, she's getting in major shit last week, and then she smooths that shit over, and then big things are happening because at Triplemania, her name was all up in somebody's mouth.
Yeah. Gets on a live mic, calls out La Mera Mera, and then everyone, including Thunder Rosa, freaks out.
Have you guys seen that Thunder Rosa reaction? Oh, you showed it to me, Byron. That thing, that's fucking great. I was like, you can genuinely see how happy she was. She did not know that was coming. There was no work involved there. That was Taya out of WWE. And see, here's the thing. Taya outside of the WWE system really is the queen of all other wrestling, period.
Yeah.
Outside of the WWE. She's got respect at Impact. She's got respect to the whole locker room at AEW, even though she's never wrestled for him. She's got respect down in Mexico. All the Japanese women know her. Like everybody knows Taya. They all would love to work at least one match with her.
She'll do every kind of match. Straight up woman match. She'll do intergender. She was doing hardcore matches recently. She was what's his name?
Brian Cage.
No. I mean, there was that one on Lucha Libre.
Which is a great match.
But she had another. I feel bad if someone remembers his name. He's awesome, but he is a giant, massive dude on the Indies, and dwarfs her, and they had a hardcore match, and it was a lot of fun on the Indies. Like you didn't need to do that. You don't need to bleed or do crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, look, her going down to AAA and calling out Thunder Rosa is huge on so many levels. Like Thunder Rosa and Taya do have a small history out on the Indies during it was right after Lucha Underground when everyone's contracts were all wonky and this, that, and the other thing. And Thunder Rosa was just working every indie date available. Like people wonder why she has all this indie cred. It's because everyone who's ever gone to an indie show has seen a Thunder Rosa match with her 4 feet away because she has wrestled every freaking indie promotion. There were times when she was wrestling like 4 or 5 times a week in different cities. She just took every single booking. So she worked Taya, and I remember talking to her about her and asking her about it, and they had a couple of great matches. They loved it. Taya really took Thunder Rosa under her wing for a minute. And that was honestly around the time when it was like, I started seeing gains in what Thunder Rosa was doing after that were exponential. Like she had some pretty huge gains at Lucha Underground, but her run where she was just working constantly, and then especially with some of the stuff that Taya was giving her, and it wasn't really about moves so much as it was about in-ring performance. That's what Taya was giving her. Taya was, and the matches that they worked weren't spectacular moveset wise. They were not at all, but the crowds were on their feet the entire time. I remember one was like this rooftop outdoor thing. It almost looked like a restaurant, and it was like packed, and every person there was standing. Nobody was paying attention to their drinks or the food coming or whatever else was going on. Like, they were glued to it because those women, they got in there and they told a story. So, and it's also, I've talked to Thunder Rosa about this a few hundred times, how much she has always wanted to have an in at AAA. And there have been times in the past where she's tried to get in there and hasn't really had the opportunity. Now, I don't know how Conan feels about her. I think I've maybe asked him about her once or twice, and I think he just basically was like, yeah, she's pretty good. I don't know that he's over the moon about her. And for her, it's tough because in Mexico, they have plenty of Mexican talent. But I think now with her exposure, having been NWA Women's Champ and having been AAA or AEW champ, that she will absolutely be a big star if she goes down there and does something.
And also flying the Mexican flag at AEW.
Let me tell you, Outlaw, who's going to be a big star. And it's this up-and-coming young handsome devil named Hook. And I only
got a
came
good
on
suplex.
I only came on because Byron said that he would play a certain clip if I came on. Go ahead and play the clip there, Broken Arm Jones.
I'm trying to. Oh, you guys want to see my scars?
No, what's the clip? We don't want to see anything about any body parts of yours. Or...
How's it going there, Meefloaf? How about you, Outlaw?
Laura, well, how many R's are in Outlaw?
I'm not a teacher, man. I don't know.
That's the Red Hook spelling.
I know there's one R in the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, New York.
What are you doing, Byron? Are you playing this video? What is this video?
I'm gonna. Do you, Candace, dick fit in your mouth? Do you want to set this video up?
I want to set this video up by saying that I choked this motherfucker out. Beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
All right, let's see if it'll play audio.
It won't play audio.
God damn it, Byron. You had one job.
One job, Byron.
Wait, haven't we done this before where we've had something play audio? Oh, that was when I figured it out. Byron doesn't know.
It doesn't play audio?
No.
Just another victim of the human suplex machine.
I don't think it does from a screen share.
Oh. All right. Maybe I can. Anyway, you should watch that clip. Look it up.
So where did you see Thunder Rosa this weekend?
I saw Thunder Rosa at the Circle 6 show. I went to Circle 6, Hope for the Hopeless. She went there after her Republica Lucha match. Her and her son Anakin had a tag match, and they won. Anakin got his ass beat. He told me. I got to meet Anakin for the first time.
Wait, so Anakin
cool.
bumped hard? You haven't met him. Anakin at the last Ultima Lucha.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
He was there.
He might look different and a bit older.
Well, I mean, that was like 10 years ago now. Yeah.
Okay, don't make me remember 10 years ago.
He grew like he was the only underage guy there in the VIP.
I don't
Maybe
remember.
you weren't there then. I don't know.
I was there for 4, but I don't remember seeing him. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Whatever.
Go ahead. So Anakin, what?
Cool.
He got potatoed, or he took a hard bump, or he didn't tuck his chin? What the hell happened? Why did the kid get beat up?
He told me they beat his ass.
Make him do all the work?
I guess. And then they both had their face paint, and his eye looked like a black eye. I don't know if it was or not, but if it was expertly hidden by a giant circle of purple paint around it.
Black guys?
I have no problems with them.
He likes the peas.
Oh, you want a black guy?
What?
You said you have no problem a black
Meef, I
guy.
think he's talking to you. Why don't you start talking, Meef?
Wait.
Anyway,
no,
so
I'm-
they were.
You're
so
the
they
palest
were-
one here, Byron.
So they came to Circle 6 to hang out afterwards, and Mel was super excited about the AAA call out, the Triplemania call out. Super excited, and she's also excited. She's going to Tokyo, Japan Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Joshi Pro TJPW to wrestle Mia Yamashita.
Joshi Pro Wrestling.
TJPW, which is awesome. I mean, Joshi Wrestling, women's Japanese wrestling is awesome, and you should
Now,
definitely
see,
check
I'll
out
be
Stardom
honest.
and TJPW. They're two different flavors, but I mean, these women are some of the best that that
Now,
you'll see out there.
this is also why I'm worried that she's going to drop to Toni Storm, because of the fact that I feel like she's setting up things that she would set up if she didn't have the belt anymore. Am I going too far and exposing the business too much again when I'm not supposed to? I don't know.
You've been saying that AEW don't put on TV anyway, so it doesn't matter if she goes anywhere else.
Wow.
I think
that's kind of true.
Oh, I did it. I said
think-
it. You know me, I get upset when people aren't on TV that deserve to be on TV.
No, I've
especially
said,
if
I've
you
said
give
it
them-
publicly.
especially if you give them a belt.
I agree with
Tony should be doing a lot more with.
And
her
I thought
women.
that they had it backwards with what they were doing with her from what they were doing with Jade. Like, Jade is the one that I want to see just work up a big hype to a pay-per-view match, but not wrestle on TV every week. And they were having Jade wrestle some way on TV every week. Whereas I wanted to see Thunder Rosa wrestle all comers, just have some great matches, or bring up some other talent or whatever. And then also still be on the pay-per-view. But it's like they got it reversed. They had Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb talking a bunch on TV, but not wrestling. And then they had Jade wrestling all the time. And I was like, that's backwards.
Pay people up to their strengths.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know.
But
You don't really know.
But here's the thing. Tony books his belts a certain way. He has a certain mentality about his belts. I don't think, and that's the problem. I don't think he was booking the talent. I think he was booking the belts. And the problem was Jade was doing very good with her promos. So then Jade starts getting promos and matches, and you're booking to one champion more than the other one. And to be honest, as great as Jade is, and as much as I think she's going to be a huge star for quite a while, Thunder Rosa is by far a brilliant wrestler compared to Jade. Like, Jade has a very limited thing.
And her belt's more important, isn't it, in AEW, technically?
Correct, and it's more important. And so you're overshadowing your champion, you're overshadowing the wrestling.
Yeah.
And back to the other comment about, her, or Tony talking to her, or whatever he said, or whatever may have gone down. The part of the problem with that is the fact that Tony is booking an internet wrestling community show.
Mm-hmm.
He always has. This guy was in the chat rooms before most people had email accounts.
And on one level, it works. It works in a certain way.
Correct. It really does.
Still...
But yeah, so here's the simple fact. And look, and this is maybe great for fans. Like, fans, if there's something you don't like about AEW, or if there's a star that you want to see, or somebody that you want to see get more time, or at least stay on Tony's radar or whatever, put it on the internet and see if that'll go viral, because I know for a fact he's read comments of mine. I know he's read some of Byron's too.
I'm probably muted.
Good one.
You might be.
Yeah,
I would mute you if I owned a wrestling company.
I post lots of pictures of him doing massive loads of cocaine, so that's probably...
I mean, to be fair, if I were TK, I would have muted you well before AEW.
2-3 years, yeah.
When you were already talking about Adam Cole.
Rebecca Lux, he's booking it like an
no one should talk about Adam Cole apart from maybe in a
Here's the thing about Adam Cole, and Booker T did one of his things. Booker T is like a much more charming version of Bubba Ray, who's always just trying to get heat for his podcast because he doesn't want to bump anymore.
Is this the thing that Hangman's been complaining about? Because wasn't Booker T the one that pissed him off? Hangman said, look, I got to read you Hangman's tweet, though. Hangman said, I just hope that when I'm old and retired, I don't lower myself to some shit-ass podcast where I trash the younger generation that's just chasing the same fortune wrestling has afforded me.
Right. He has a great point. But here's
a very good point.
No, he doesn't.
You have guys, and it's not sincere. Like Booker T, countless times he'll talk some shit, right? And then if you call him out on it, he'll either, like the whole thing with him and Corey Graves a while ago, They both had podcasts that were coming out, and they're just making money off of something. Or if you call him out over it, he's like, I don't really know what I'm saying out here.
But here's why Adam Page is an idiot. Look at that tweet, man. Look at that tweet. You know what's wrong with that tweet?
He doesn't tag him.
He doesn't address it to anyone. He's trying to be vague. Like, all that's saying is somebody called the ball to do it, and my feelings are hurt. Oh my God, dude! If somebody calls you, it's fucking work it. Say Booker T's name. Call his ass out. Say some shit. Get in his face. Put some money on it. Man, you don't know. Maybe there's a match with you and Booker T down the road that is worth millions in your pocket. Let the old timer say his shit and then talk shit back to him. Tell him, like, hey, old timer, get off the hover round and come say something to my face. Booker has his own promotion, and he's old school. I'm sure nothing that he says on the podcast is personal. I don't know what he's saying backstage. Look, if
he would have a reason to say anything, but all it is he's calling someone out. If you call him out and he can make money off of talking to you,
I know, but this is part of what bugs me about the internet wrestling community these days and its impact on things is the fact that for the current mindset, Page probably handled that the right way to keep the internet on his side. The sad thing to me, and Thunder Rosa did as well. Like, there's a picture of her and the Enemy backstage breaking bread together. Like, this is the most not kayfabe thing ever. It's one thing I exposed the match or whatever, but at the same time, and it wasn't the wrong move because they're AEW superstars and they are the ones that answer to the internet wrestling community because that's who Tony's booking for.
That's an MMA thing too, though. Like, you don't necessarily have to have a personal disagreement storyline angle to have people fight.
Well. Oh, no, wait. You
don't have to.
You most certainly do if you want to make the kind of money that Jorge Masvidal makes, that Colby Covington makes, that Conor McGregor makes, that John Jones makes. These guys didn't get rich off of their feuds where everything was squashed at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, John Jones knocked down a whole PR set and whatever in Vegas. Those dudes went at it, and Dan Cormier's throwing a shoe, and those guys still dislike each other for real. Like, they'll be businessmen and talk honorably to a certain extent. And I'm saying that for real, I don't know. Maybe they worked us all. Maybe Conor McGregor worked every fight that he ever had, or Nate Diaz. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that there is more money in it. Like, if Adam Page needs to talk to Booker T, he can call Booker T. He can get Booker T's phone number from somebody. Trust me, Booker's got some kind of friend at AEW, even as much shit as he talks there. Yeah. He can talk to one of the agents, or somebody can hook him up with Booker's number. He could call him up and be like, hey, Book, man, I heard what you said on the show. Like, does it have to be all that? Like, what's up? Can we talk?
I think he's not concerned about working an angle or making money off of it. He's just upset and sort of standing up for his crew, for his generation.
If you're going to be on these platforms, if you're going to be on the social media, and if you're going to use those platforms at time to do work, to try to work just do it all the time. Live the gimmick, bro. If you are the cowboy shit guy, be a fucking cowboy. Tell me you're going to put your foot in Booker T's ass next time you're in Texas. And then call Booker up and be like, and call Booker up and be like, dude, I'm just working. I wasn't thrilled with what you said, but I figured, what the fuck? Like, that's the way you do business. Anyway, Triplemania.
Nah.
Is anybody dead? Who died at Triplemania? First of
everyone. By the way, yeah.
One of my pet peeves this week is matches I don't understand. I've watched wrestling for a long time. 7-way cage match, apuestas setup thing. I was so confused by the rules. I'm like, do you want to get out of the cage? Do you not want to get out of the cage? Eventually, I figured it out that there was no pinfalls. So if you had to escape the cage, everyone who escaped the cage was safe. Everyone who was left in the cage, when it got down to 2 people, they had to have an apuestas for their masks later that night. It took me about 20 minutes of the match, though, to even understand the fucking rules. And I'm watching in English and Spanish, and I didn't get it from either side. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, was Tony Khan in the announce booth at Triplemania? A Spanish announce booth. I'm just wondering if he had visited
Good old
those
Hugo.
guys earlier
Good
in the
old
day.
Hugo.
There was this
Hugo Savinovich.
tremendous
by the way,
mounted camera in the announce booth that
You've got to laugh.
Hugo was foreground, but was foreground and closer to camera than Hugo was, I don't know, like 7 thick ass lines of cocaine.
Wait, that
Was it
never
more?
happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
And then as they allegedly, and then as
I think
the
that
show
was
progresses and they keep
patterning
cutting,
in the desk. That was a patterning in the
no,
desk.
they might have been doing some construction around there. I don't know, in like sawdust. But I do know that they were sort of being cleaned up as the show went on.
Copa Triplemania. Let's talk about the match after that, whatever cage setup thing was in the afternoon. Okay, so and watching this on Fight was weird too, because the show just started. You get this weird, crazy cage match thing, and then there's like a 45-minute break. So basically, like, this was a buy-in show match.
Yeah.
But it was not done as a buy-in. Like, can we have just started the show with the regular show and put this as an actual buy-in? Because it didn't friggin' matter at all. It had no bearing. You could have just put anyway, I don't care. The Copa Triplemania match, which was basically your battle royal thing. You got to see a lot of fun stuff. Heavy Metal, Mecha Wolf, Pagano.
Vampiro!
Mr. Iguana was awesome. But Vampiro, holy shit.
Yeah.
He was good.
He was not what he was 4 or 5 years ago. He was much better than I've seen him in a long time, probably in better shape than when he was at Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
He did that match. He was moving, he was doing spots, he was taking bumps. I mean, some of them were still a little scary, and he's not a spring chicken. But to see a guy who I really, really loved in spots of his career have a go round like that was amazing. That was awesome to see. The crowd seemed to like it, because a lot of times you get these guys coming like even better than Jeff Hardy. When we were talking last week about how scary it was to see Jeff Hardy doing some of the things that he was doing with his weight and his agility currently, and just his overall being and whatnot. Of like, yeah, he can still go, but he can't go like Jeff Hardy from 2006 can go. Like, let's not do that. I was feeling like as soon as I heard Vampiro's name, I was like, oh, dude, don't let him come out here and just either A, blow up immediately and suck the air out of the whole thing and make himself look bad. Because I don't want a guy to look bad. He's one of my idols in wrestling. I like the guy. I didn't want to see that. And then I was also like, oh, and don't let him not do that and then hurt himself trying to go too far like he did a few years ago doing the spot with Kross and that other stuff. Like, he got in there, he psyched himself into his knees not being janky for 4.5 minutes and then took some gnarly spots. He took some big bumps this time too, but and absolutely no surprise whatsoever to anyone watching this match. I don't care if they were 3-year-old in Tijuana or an 80-year-old wrestling fan here in the States. Everyone knew that Nino Hamburguesa. What did that announcer call him? Nino Hamburguesa or some.
Oh my God.
Oh, the English announcers. I'm sorry, Kevin, because Kevin said he got them for.
No, they know wrestling. Like, they knew the storylines, they knew the people, they knew the backstories, they knew the history of Lucha Libre. They knew what I wanted them to know. They didn't say it how I wanted them to say it.
They weren't Kevin Gill.
And they also have worse pronunciations than everybody that I've ever heard. Than Kevin Gill. Yes, worse than Kevin Gill.
Wow, that's saying something.
Kevin Gill could at least read Spanish off a piece of paper okay. His problem was he didn't have a piece of paper and he kept making shit up that he didn't know. But these guys know all the shit, but then they called him Nino Hamburguesas or some crap. I'm just like, wow. Jim Cornette would have done a better job with that. Anyway, that match was fun. The Vampiro part was probably the most fun. Cruiserweight and Latin American title 5-way match.
Oh my God.
Absolutely, of course, the match of the night. I don't know how many Meltzer stars it got, but it should have been all of them.
I mean, I mean, it had some scary moments. Bandito, I hope
He's injured now, isn't he? Yeah.
I mean, he had a Republic of Lucha match on Sunday. I don't know if he wrestled.
I don't know.
And he's been pulled from a load of events.
Yeah.
I know that.
All I know is Phoenix was trying to get him up and to give him money that they were throwing in the ring and really kind of tip his cap to everybody in the match, and that didn't happen.
No, he took the spot, like landed on his brain and neck, got up immediately, did another spot because the Lucha Libre, and then I think he rolled out, and then he got stretched out after the match.
And I really didn't think that, I know Conan's the booker down there, and Phoenix is absolutely his boy. But at the same time, Conan is not above doing a piece of business either. And, Phoenix and Penta both have their allegiances in two different places. And you're seeing right now how that's going with Andrade as well.
Mhm.
I think Conan doesn't want to keep putting his belts on guys that are going to be, doing a bunch of different stuff. So I figured he was going to keep the belts on somebody a little more in-house or whatever, but Phoenix did it. I think it's great to have Phoenix have that belt, or both of those belts. I wouldn't mind Vikingo or Laredo Kids had that cruiserweight title forever though, right?
Yeah, sort of historic reign.
They do that though. That's like, I think Phantasma had it for like nearly 3-4 years
for the cruiserweight belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they gave it to Johnny, whatever his name is this week.
Johnny Hardy.
I think that it's great to have, Phoenix walking out of that with a big win on TV for them. It makes it look like he is their talent, which he is. His primary contract is still AAA over AEW.
Also, I mean, and you see how he's treated in AEW. I mean, he's getting high-profile matches and he gets to show off when he has matches, but he really should be winning big-time matches on pay-per-views like that match. He should be doing more of that. That's how you get your return on the caliber of star that he is. You need to showcase him like that.
So the Roulette of Death match, another one of these. Oh my God, what are the rules here? So if you lose, you advance in the tournament, but advancing in the tournament's not a good thing because you could potentially lose your mask. So
it's a tournament version of the cage match.
Yeah. So, but this is cool. Blue Demon Jr. really, I hope shook Pentagon's hand backstage and thanked him for the house or something, because basically Blue Demon got to do all of Pentagon Jr.'s spots to Pentagon.
Yeah.
And they looked good. And it's the best maybe that I've ever seen Blue Demon Jr. look.
Yeah. Penta,
period.
Yeah. He looked amazing. I mean, this guy, who would ever expected, he hit the first destroyer. And you're like, oh my God. We've seen Virgil hit a destroyer, Dustin Rhodes, and all respect to him, but he's an old man with wobbly legs and he's going out there doing code reds and destroyers,
Right.
It's, and all respect to him, by the way. But to see Blue Demon Jr. do a destroyer in the match, it was mind blowing, because one, he's old and all of that, but two, he's like traditional Lucha Libre, like
he's not even traditional Lucha Libre. He's a traditional brawler style guy.
Traditional brawler, like you would never expect any kind of high spot from him, let alone a destroyer. And then they finished the match with one off the top rope through a table. None of those things have ever been in the same sentence as Blue Demon Jr. And also, while we're talking about him, we have to give a shout out to the video packages on these guys. They were really, really well done. Really well done.
The sound was a little wonky on the US feed, but at the same time, those packages were all good.
It was great that they were able to pay tribute to Blue Demon Jr. and his dad, Blue Demon, and how Blue Demon Jr. continues to add to the legacy of the bloodline.
But look, here's why those packages...
Specifically, he's in bloodline then, aren't
you? He's adopted.
Exactly. But at the same time, there's a reason why those packages are good. It's exactly what AEW is missing half the time, which is on a big event, when you're coming into certain things, please, dear God, have a story to explain. I cannot watch WWE for 4 weeks straight and then watch the pay-per-view, and I will understand every single match that is happening at the pay-per-view, even if the storyline is silly or whatever. They have those great packages that kind of put it all together, and all those weeks are basically working towards the highlights. And Vince knows this. Vince is like, look, you guys are going to go out there, you're going to cut this and this a segment. I don't care if this part falls flat or if you guys want to change or improv a little bit of this, but I need this highlight. I want a camera here from this angle when you say this, because it's going in the package. And I want this line to be clean. Don't wait for the crowd to stop heckling you and say it. And this is why at WWE, sometimes you'll see somebody say a line twice because they know it's for the highlight package.
Watch any promo that Edge did after his heel turn to a dead silent crowd for like 10 minutes long, feels like 15, and you're watching it live on Raw, and you're like, why? If you're into like movies and analyzing them, it's like all need exposition. And then before the pay-per-view match, you watch the promo
and it's fire.
It's fire. It's cut.
I'll tell you who's actually doing a great job with that out of all the people that I didn't think would actually be able to do that. Fucking Austin Theory. That kid is getting it. He's just getting it. Whether you like it or not, the business part of it, how to make television, how to go out there and be a heel. He knows when it's time to deliver Vince's lines and make daddy happy, he does it. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. He sells it the way that he can so he can get the highlights out of it. And then when the
make
crowd
daddy happy sounds like one of his text messages.
I'm sure that's what Vince is saying to him. Come on.
That's uncalled for. They were not text messages. It was on Snapchat.
You know what was not good, Byron?
What was that?
Was the other roulette of death match. Psycho Clown defeats Viano 4.
Oh, God.
Like, here's the thing to me.
Hold on, Meef. What do you think about Psycho Clown?
And he tried to do the same thing with Viano that Pentagon did with Blue Demon. Not the same results. Also, Viano 4 is older and more broke down. But somehow we're getting the finals is going to be Viano 4 versus Pentagon, which is pretty much going to be the exact same as the match that we just saw with Blue Demon at best.
Can you imagine if Pentagon loses his mask?
No, because he's not, because it's Viano 4, we know he's not going to. It makes the whole match kind of pointless to me. Yeah. It's like, and to me, I almost don't understand why you didn't have Blue Demon go on to that match. That's bigger money to me. Viano
have him in Viano
versus
4?
Blue Demon in a mask versus mask match. I would be wondering who's actually going to lose.
This is a flashback for like 3-4 years now when Phantasma was losing his mask, and there was the whole thing that he was possibly leaving and going to WWE anyway. But they had him in a match, the Poker de Asses, which was like Psycho Clown, their boy wonder favorite to take everybody's masks. The great mask collector prick that he is. And Pentagon and LA Park, and it was like quite clearly you're taking a Legends mask,
right, or
somebody who's leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
And that'd be funny. And at the same time, Phantasma's mask was a legendary mask to a degree.
Because his dad was still, in the picture of it. So it's not just one person; it's a lineage of masks.
I mean, but there's no drama to this. I mean, Viano, you saw him wrestle. Like, the dude has less knees than the New Japan starting roster.
You know what they need to do? This is how you book it. Number one, and this is what Triplemania
16.
No, which whatever. It's at
30.
Triplemania. You invite TK down and you put a live camera on him, right?
Like the Hugo,
right? You have a live camera on him, and then you run the match, and then Viano wins.
It's just so obvious, like
you film TK's reaction of Penta losing his mask.
But I mean, come on. Like, that would be awesome. Like, if Penta actually lost his mask, but why would you let Viano 4 be the guy to take his mask? Unless him and Pentagon have some personal relationship and Pentagon really wanted to give it to him. But I don't see him doing that. I see him putting over one of the younger guys that is an up-and-coming stud that he likes. before he would put over some dude who's had the third most storied career of anybody who's still at AAA. Like what? There's just no excuse for it.
Yeah.
And so I get maybe that maybe Viano asked to lose his match to Pentagon and not have to lose it to Psycho Clown. Maybe that's what happened. And he told Blue Demon to fuck off. But it just, as a fan, obviously there would be more excitement if the finals of that was either Pentagon versus Psycho Clown, because then
Do you know? Want to know why?
A huge mask is coming off, or one of the two legends.
And it's quite clearly a clear-cut match as to who's going to lose the mask. Was the money they were willing to pay?
Right.
Is that if they were paying big money, it'd be a big mask / well, a Viano mask is still.
So what you're trying to say is Viano better have a kick-ass match, and they better throw some pesos into the ring, or he's not getting shit that night.
Well, yeah.
Mask. I mean, I think he's just doing it to. I mean, everybody didn't all the other Vianos lose their masks already? Like they're all exposed now, right? Like he's the only one left.
Wait,
you got the young lad.
Was this one of the Vianos in WCW?
Yeah.
Yes.
Viano 4 and 5.
Yes.
This is one of This is Viano. Yeah. This is the legendary.
You saw this match, right, Byron? The guy is like 80 under that mask. You saw how he was walking, right?
I mean, to be very fair, I was playing Ghosts of Tsushima while watching Triplemania, and I just paused.
I'll give you an interesting tidbit on the Vianos as well. So, do you know Santos Escobar started to do the whistle?
Yes,
that's from the Vianos.
That's their come on, help us out.
That was their little whistle that they used to do for setting up things, doing stuff with each other.
That was their switch out whistle and their hot tag whistle. So Flammer defeated Chick Tormenta for her mask.
We would have all preferred to have seen Lady Flammer.
Yes. I could not have said it better myself, Meefloaf. That is all I have to say about that match. I mean, look, God bless Chick. Thank you for putting on a great show and a nice run in the hood. And now you get to be without the hood. And I will leave it at that. Congratulations. And
is she retiring?
No, I don't think she's retiring, but I think she was working. She's working more limited anyway. I don't know if she's nursing some injuries or just getting, to the point of being done soon. But
also payday.
I think she'll work without the mask a little bit and see where it goes. But I don't think she's really trying to go too much further down the road.
It doesn't damage the women historically as much as it has the males losing the mask either.
Okay. Hey guys, can we have a televised wrestling TV show? And I only say this for one reason. I think we should do an MMM wrestling show because I would like to be the lead booker of it, and I would like to produce a 30-minute package about myself.
Does this have to do with a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Yes. Look, and I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but also it's hilarious to give yourself a Lifetime Achievement Award and then break down about it.
And make Dorian roll down.
I mean, look, again, he totally deserves it. And I think the emotion was genuine, especially with all his boys out there, like when his whole crew was out there and, and the heartfelt things that everyone was saying to him. And honest to God, look, if it weren't for Conan, I probably wouldn't be a fan of Lucha Libre today at all, because if he hadn't been part of bringing Lucha Libre to ECW, that was where I discovered Lucha Libre. It wasn't from anything else. I wasn't watching Lucha Libre before that.
And he was like one of the first guys who also crossed especially from Lucha Libre, who used, because he obviously used it from out in Miami, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When he brought a lot of more of the culture of the Hispanic communities of America into the mainstream, wrestling world. So he crossed but he was also obviously being Hispanic. So he has also attracted the crowd from down south, and also could bring in the guys from America into viewing him. And he also when he was wrestling, he would switch between styles, and also his positioning inside NWO and stuff on the Wolfpack. the stuff he was doing was obviously always
Yeah, I mean, he was over backstage with the top guys, like the top guys who were not high flyers or into Lucha Libre at all. Conan could go from one side of the locker room to the other with only maybe one stop in between that, wasn't favorable to him.
Yeah,
especially in WCW. And that was hard back there because that was a contentious backstage situation for a lot of individuals. I mean, like, look, even Chris Jericho, who has made a lot of friends in the business, like you hear him talk about some of those WCW days. There were locker rooms and people who he did not associate with at all, and who were literally trying to bury him every week. Conan never had that problem.
Yeah, and Conan, like what you said with ECW, brought in those luchadors. I think multiple generations, there are multiple periods of time when he, enlightened like a generation or entire section of wrestling fans. For me, it was the same wrestlers, but it was WCW.
Right.
And then for many, just to jump forward a whole bunch, it was Lucha Underground. He made people fans, and he also like he did reinvigorate the Lucha Libre culture in Los Angeles, because now they had, for a while on the show, they had something that spoke to them, that was from their culture, and it was being treated authentically for a while. Jake, so
it's really a shame that Rey Mysterio and Conan's time at Lucha Underground didn't overlap, which it's actually one of the weirder, more bizarre things about Lucha Underground, because they were very tight and spending a lot of time together, because Rey wasn't in WWE. He wasn't in that road life, and they were down together in San Diego constantly at the time. And it is so weird that the season that Conan was there was the season that Rey was not.
Well, I think Rey was supposed to come during that season, and then the Peril accident, and then stuff, which it's horrible. I mean, everyone in that match, it was horrible for everyone. But like, could you imagine being in that match and living with that?
Fuck no.
I know one of my good friends was a photographer for that match. And obviously was videoing it as well, I believe.
Wow.
It was ringside photography?
Yeah.
That's the worst.
That's terrible.
That's the worst. I knew somebody who was at the pay-per-view with the Owen Hart thing, and it was just like, that person has never again gone to a wrestling event.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you bought a ticket to a snuff show that was not what you intended to do. That was not the kind of scarring you intended to have on your body at the time. What was left from Triplemania? Did I get everything? Oh no, there's the match, the main, the
tag.
Dralistico and Dragon Lee, the brothers Lee.
Yeah, I gotta say,
which they don't call him their Ingo Bernable name anymore. They call him like the Hermanos Lee or something, right?
Ingo Bernable is a CMLL in New Japan, and
but weren't they going by the Fashion Ingo Bernable?
Oh, maybe
that was their thing, but they're not doing that anymore. So I'm wondering if they got some kind of cease and desist.
It was nice to see Dragon Lee wrestle. I forgot that he wasn't showing up in New Japan, because it's always a treat to see him and was it Teton and them to do some matches in the Best of Juniors.
Isn't he in the 25 still?
But that's part of why this was a big deal to have. Yeah. That's why this was the headliner with Dralistico and Dragon Lee together. And it was supposed to obviously be Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy, but we got Johnny Hardy.
Yeah.
Johnny Caballero, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Guerrero, whatever you want to call him down there. Johnny gimmick name.
He did. He was a bit super hyped for the show promo.
Was he in Hugo's commentary booth?
I think Matt Hardy was like in character trying to hit all the points, while Johnny Hardy was just doing thrusts and making noises.
Matt Hardy's like, what can I get? What do I have to do to get a partner who can?
First of all, you gotta look at this from Matt Hardy's perspective too. He's never worked AAA before. You know, he's down here doing this thing. Like they did a thing with some AAA talent when they were doing their tour of whatever thing.
Yes, they did.
But I don't think he's ever been down to Mexico to do an event, right? So he's in TJ.
No, they did. They definitely did an event because they did that whole where they flashed. I think when I say it was the crash.
Yeah, I'm sure they did a crash thing or something.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was the crash. That was their tour of whatever. So it wasn't. But he didn't work AAA. But so first of all, that's weird enough, you know, and you're working with a translating referee, which was Marty Elias, and you're laying out the match completely differently than probably everything you had planned, and you're in the ring with two guys who are high flyers from the left side that move faster than the Young Bucks, and that was already hard for Matt to keep up with a few weeks ago, and having Mundo there, you know, Hinnigan, whatever you want to call him, doesn't make it any better. Like, because he moves
Can you
crazy.
Imagine? Who thought it was a good idea, by the way, to have at the time, Jeff Hardy anywhere near Tijuana?
No.
I mean, Conan booked this match like 5 months ago in his defense. Like, he booked it ages ago.
Historically, let's talk about historically. Historically, putting Jeff Hardy near Tijuana.
Yeah, but you have to understand, I'm pretty
sure it's going to be a bad idea.
I'm pretty sure, and this isn't official because there's ways that contracts work, but I'm pretty sure that Jeff Hardy's schedule was already lined up a long time before he showed up for any of these things, like a long, long time. He basically told all his buddies, yeah, I'm not renewing. And you're not supposed to negotiate stuff until your contract is actually over. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure that
there's ways.
And I'm sure that Jeff made some phone calls and said some what ifs of like, hey, if I happen to be available in October, do you know if there's any events that I might be able to do down in Mexico, Conan?
I mean, he doesn't
even want me to do.
He doesn't even have to. I mean, the Monday Night Wars were like a big thing with that. Where just you knew, and then you got a buddy that makes the deal for you, and the second you could talk about it, they tell you about it, and like you just assume, you know what I mean? Like there's ways to legally.
But as soon as I believe that as soon as Conan found out, and whenever that was is subject to debate, whenever Conan found out about the fact that they were going to do another run as the Hardy Boys. Because of that stuff that he had done with them in the crash and their tour of whatever while they were in Impact, he wanted to bring them in. He thought it would be big money. He wanted it to be a headliner. I think it was pretty much a done deal before the reuniting of them happened on TV. But whatever, it was fun to kind of watch Matt Hardy learn Lucha Libre in the ring as the headliner of a pay-per-view. I got a kick out of that. What are you looking up, Byron? You calling somebody?
Maybe.
Oh boy, here we go. As long as it's not that Turtles picture that Casey kept trying to make me look at. Anyway, that was
I can't even speak the turtle picture because he found it and then he would text it to me and then he would send it to everyone.
It's his version of a Rickroll.
I'm in multiple group DMs with Casey.
He did it with Casey as well.
And he's doing it in all of them. And I'm just getting.
Can I just say one thing though? That they were anatomically incorrect because a turtle's penis is way more scarier than what was on that picture.
What are you talking about? I don't know anything about turtle penis.
Oh, yeah, you definitely know what I'm talking about. You saw it, so don't even lie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you seen a turtle's penis?
No. Right. I can't say that I go looking for turtle penis.
So basically, a turtle's penis comes out like a big, like, massive sucker. It's like a mushroom. It's like an inverse mushroom, and it's fucking scary.
It's like I don't even work here. I don't even.
I'm gonna send you a picture of it.
No, thank you. I don't need more.
I'll send you the video because it's totally something out of Stranger Things. It's really fucking horrendous.
See, everyone thinks that Byron's the old one, but I'm actually the old man of the group because to me, the Ninja Turtles are black and white comic book on newsprint from Eastman and Laird, and Casey has got me playing this game where they're like the pizza eating Cowabunga turtles with different colored headbands. Like even the in color stuff from my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they all wore red headbands. And if you were a smart fan, you told them apart by their weapons. Because it wasn't that hard to figure out that a guy with a bow staff and a sword and sai and nunchucks were different people. But that's just me. I'm from a different era. I am Gen X. You guys are millennials.
Yeah, but it was about toys, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Millennials. Well, and to be honest, there was only a few figurines of the original Turtles, my Turtles. They did not have a toy line. Anyway, Byron.
Yeah.
What happened at Circle 6? Was Scarlett there?
Circle 6 was awesome. Hold on a second. I gotta text someone. Beat the
Byron.
Out of those.
Who's the text from, Byron?
Heavy bags. That's what you punch and kick, right?
Yeah. You can say who you're getting the text from.
So Kross just texted me. But
he's not available right now?
He's not available. He's on the way to the gym right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, let him go to the gym.
He said he's still on Los Angeles time, but this guy, he posts midnight gym sessions all the time. Like this guy's an animal, as far as training. I just saw him and Scarlett.
If he wants to do something, we can just record it with him. We don't have to do it live. We can just record
I don't know if the time of day or anything. We should talk.
Look, it's your schedule and his schedules are the hard ones, and mine will get harder next week. So if you want to record something with Kross, man, whatever you and him work out a time sometime this week, and we'll do something.
Do you know what's really quite sad? He finally got another booking in the UK, and then they postponed it.
Oh.
Yeah, because tickets were 17,000 quid.
Yeah. Only details. The whole event was booked, and details are released.
Look, I know Kross
3 weeks before the event.
I know Kross has a good booking fee right now, but the prices for the tickets for that show would cover quadruple his fucking booking fee.
I jokingly said that the booking fees for the talent involved was 50,000, and got told to times that by quite a lot.
Well, because if
it was all
but see, here's the thing about booking people. If you're booking someone and then they can't book the next day because of whatever you're getting them to do,
right,
the fee goes up.
Yeah.
And I even do this in my job. Like, I don't take days off on the road or this, that, and the other thing. If I can't work a day for another company while I'm an independent contractor, not when I'm a weekly salaried employee or whatever, but if I'm a daily contract player like I am sometimes on Food Paradise, I get paid per day of how many days I go out and direct. And if I'm on the road for you, you're keeping me in Mississippi, or you're having me run an errand or this, that, or the other thing. If I can't book a full day of work for someone else because of whatever you have me and what you have me doing, guess what, buddy? You're paying for my day.
Yeah.
That simple.
Yeah, I've tried to do a few bookings before and try and book tolls for guys before. So yeah.
You got, and that's the problem with bringing people overseas. It's like, yeah, bro, I'll come and do your show for this much, except you got to figure out those other 4 days that now I can't do anything else with my life.
Also, you need to get a good plane ticket. Like, you don't send someone the size of a professional wrestler, that type of athlete,
coach on a 17-hour flight.
You just don't. What are you going to have them actually wrestle when they show up?
Yeah.
Like, come on. So yeah, it costs a lot, but
if you'd seen that hotel in person, that they had Drago in, you would.
Bad?
It was a pub. It was a room above a pub in the north of England on the Champions League final day.
And there was a lizard though, like a stone floor is a good look for him.
There was girls in the pub at like 12 doing shots, and it was like, I'm taking you back to my nice posh hotel, and putting you in a nice, soft, comfortable bed.
So you got him over to the Days Inn, and then what?
He should have stayed at your home with you. That would have been probably better off.
Well, I was
the home wasn't close.
about
Get some home
400
cooking.
miles away, Byron.
Yeah, the
that's
home
true.
wasn't close. You've heard this story before, Byron.
That's true. Then where you? What?
Byron, you're supposed to be telling me about Circle 6. I didn't get to go. I want to know what happened. I went to the Cleveland show. I got to see Vinnie. I got to see Kross. Like, did Vinnie gimmick a pizza for you guys? Why does Jim's picture with Thunder Rosa look so much better than yours?
You just told the whole story. So Kross was texting me back. I was texting with Kross, getting advice about my torn bicep. He also gave me some really great advice. So thank you for that, sir.
Did he tell you stop masturbating?
No. Kross gave Byron the same advice he gives everyone. Go fuck yourself.
Be superhuman.
Go fuck yourself.
The Jack Nicholson laughing gif.
Yeah, he just
we got a live one here.
He's like, so what's wrong with you? And you tell him everything that's wrong with you, and then he just laughs.
Bless him.
Laughs. Circle 6 was a fantastic show. It opened with Brody King defeating Kevin Giza, whatever. Kevin is fun, but he's also like he's half the size of Brody King. Brody King beat the hell out of him. That was a lot of fun.
Brody King's jacked right now.
Brody King, it was an awesome match. I mean, he had a much more competitive, better match the other show, the prior Circle 6 show. But for a jobber match, this was great. Then Kross and Scarlett had the next two matches. And I thought it was weird that they were on so early, but they had to get a flight out for another booking. So I guess they had to leave early. Killer Kross, this is a big match against Jacob Fatu. And then ringside was, I don't know if you're into viral wrestling videos, but the guy who at a wrestling show, might have been MLW or something, or CCW, I don't know. But he was wasted because he used to get
it's that dickhead.
Obnoxiously. He's a super fan, and he was totally cool at this show. I think he kind of got some feedback about how he was.
Wasn't it a GCW show?
Maybe it's GCW. I don't remember, but it's a video where this guy
gave him the business.
Where this super fan was beyond drunk, and somehow no one stopped him. He just walked from behind the guardrails into the area, onto the mats in the middle of a match with Jacob Fatu right there. And Fatu was like still kind of new at this time, and he's an intimidating figure. And like one of the rules of wrestling is like you don't ruin someone's image. Like that's, if you're a champion in the old days, you have to get used to winning bar
right
fights,
like
there's you can't represent a company, you don't represent the business.
There's and then there's Fatu, who's also been around it since before inception,
so he knows all that shit.
He probably
protect
walked
your reputation.
He probably walked too close to the ring on one of his uncles or his dad or something one time and probably got knocked clear back across the parking lot.
So this fan walks into his business, and Jacob Fatu just fucking bodies him as hard as he could, and it was so hard.
So this dude was there for this match?
For years, I thought it was a kayfabe video to go viral.
I saw that video. No, that was...
No, it's definitely... No.
I was told, and I've seen the fan get obnoxiously drunk at other shows enough to know, like...
Do you know the fuck
in his right mind.
But see, I come from the ECW arena era of like... Dude, people were drinking in that beer hall, shit knockered. And those security guards and the wrestlers, oh my God, like Bubba Ray,
yeah, we've seen some of
he would just take somebody on their neck and just, like kind of like you do a downward chop, but I mean, he would just get them right here and light them up and half concuss them if they were jumping the rail, or if they said something nasty to one of the women, like he just bam.
So it was a really good match though between the two guys, Kross and Fatu. It was a good match.
I think they've worked each other a couple times before too, so they're probably getting
they know
getting a good rhythm. And are they both doing MLW right now?
I don't know honestly.
I haven't watched the last couple of MLWs.
I don't know what MLW is doing. But
Kross and Scarlett are in MLW now.
MLW would benefit from working with them. So Anthony was ringside, but the guy was ringside, whatever. And but it added it. But he's kind of turned his act around. I want to give him credit for that.
Hey,
And so, but when Jacob Fatu comes out, Anthony's ringside, like double fingers, fuck you. The whole match, he's like, fuck you. Fuck. And it added to the match. Like Kross, he would be fun. Like, Fatu would like do a move to Kross on the other side of the ring, and Kross is like on the ropes. Fatu would go over and be like, fuck you, motherfucker. And Kross would just kind of like,
and Kross didn't break.
Kross would like look in the crowd like, holy shit.
No, so who was facing this match?
Kross. I think. I don't know. I mean, it's an indie, so like you cheer for both guys. You're like when they're doing
well. It was weird because when Circle 6 came to Cleveland, there were so many local Cleveland guys on it, half of which were supposed to be heels, but in an all 216 room.
Yeah,
the 216 guys were, except for Matt Dog Kross. All the Cleveland guys were really over.
Hey guys. He should change. This is horrible. Hey, this isn't me. This is what Casey told me. Matt Kross should change his name to Sad Dog Matt Kross.
Wow, no,
that's what Casey told me.
He was actually good that night too.
Yeah, he's a tremendous wrestler. But you know,
it's about the double-ended dildo.
Great. So it was a great match. But also like after Kross wins, he's on top, and then he goes over and fist bumps Anthony afterwards. It was great. And then afterwards, Scarlett comes out for a bra and panties match with Eddie Only. Speaking of 4-4-0H, which was a super fun match.
Well, half of that match doesn't sound very fun at all to me.
Well.
The half where Eddie Only might be in his bra and panties, that doesn't sound fun to me.
It was, that wasn't that great. And also, like, it wasn't like, because he came out in Daisy Dukes and a t-shirt, but he had like 3 or 4 different t-shirt tank tops on. So Scarlett would take one off, he'd still have a shirt on, take one off, still have a shirt on.
Good gimmick.
And then, but then he also had a thong underneath his tights, which I don't think any of us needed to see. But that was a fun match. Scarlett won, and she hit a destroyer too. She also, she worked pretty good.
You are missing the part where she hit him with the double-ended dildo.
So hold on. So they're ringside, and then the double-sided dildo, which I'm trying to figure out if my camera's wide enough to show you how long it was.
I know that's probably a mystery to you, something that size.
It was like, what the fuck do you need something this big for? You're not trying to murder someone. Anyway, it was huge.
For yourself.
And there was okay.
Some of us don't have a choice about attempting murder.
In for the kill, Byron. In for the kill.
So it is what it is, man. You got to work with what you're born with, dude. Look, some of us are born with more than others.
You need a spotter like the horse video. I get it. Right. So
bring a stool with me so I can rest. Rest.
So they had the big dildo, and they were fighting. They end up getting into a tug of war with this double-sided dildo ringside, which is funny. And then Scarlett lets go. Eddie falls back, lands on the lap of some dude, and they just face washes him. He's like this with the thing just flopping in the guy's face. It was so funny. I was losing my shit. It was great. It was really like they both were awesome.
Was Vinnie the agent for this match backstage? By any chance?
Maybe. So it was hilarious.
Wait, Vinnie was on this card too, though, right?
Vinnie was on this card. So we'll get to Vinnie was second to last.
Thank
so after
God
that,
he wasn't in a bra and panties match. Oh.
So after that,
for the record, I think Scarlett actually worked a few spots during Kross's match with Eddie and some of the other 216 guys when they were here in Cleveland, and she actually. She can still go.
Yeah, no, I was surprised because she was working, snug and throwing them in.
Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You didn't get to see a lot of it, but Scarlett was at the PC like every day for a year and a half, busting her ass. Yeah. Like she's probably got all sorts of tricks in the bag that we haven't even seen yet. Because last time we really saw her wrestling was when she was out on the Indies with Kross right before they went to WWE.
Right, and like you see it, and I think most of what we've seen of her is besides valet work, which she was very talented at, and speaking multiple languages, singing, their entrance music in multiple languages, like all that stuff. Is like
they don't like to talk about that intro music much anymore. I think they're kind of bitter, but maybe they're bitter because they had to leave it behind.
Kross's music now is pretty cool though. But yeah, it's just like that's someone who has a lot of tools in the tool bag, I guess. But before NXT Performance Center, Scarlett was doing some pretty serious shit in AAA. She would actually work spots. She would take chairs and would do planchas and whatnot.
She did a couple things in Impact too. I mean, she can bump. She can go.
Yeah.
She was definitely was willing to throw herself into the pain of the Jews, should we say?
Yeah.
And I think even Seth Rollins had commented on it. It's not like a current thing, but he has said something in the past because they trained together back in the day about how like she earned his respect. Like she showed up and like you look at someone, you judge them based on how you see them first impression, blah blah blah, and he
because the fact of the matter is, you look like her, and clearly you don't have to do that. But that doesn't mean that she didn't want to do that or put in the time to do that just because she looks like she doesn't have to do that.
And she put in the time and earned that respect, which is great.
I think she comes across as the kind of person who would want to do that, to prove to people that she's not there just to, she seems that kind of person, that she's like, would want to do that to kind of prove to people, don't stereotypes and shit. So
look, she also wants to get paid too. She doesn't want to get a valet paycheck at the end of the night. She'd rather get, top former WWE talent payday than I showed up with my buddy Kross over here paycheck. She doesn't strike me as the kind of person that's trying to live off of anyone's coattails. Like, Kross together. She's with a wrestler, but she was well on her way on her own before they ever even hooked up. I mean, she was a big name when he came into Impact. She already had a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah,
she had storyline. She was getting TV time. She was getting paid plenty. She was having matches. Like,
to be honest, at the time, she was actually doing more storyline wise and being on TV than Kross. So
yeah, I mean, she reminds me a little more of almost like a Maria Kanellis in the fact of like she can work a storyline. She understands a lot of the business. She can go when she needs to in the ring. She can do bumps. She's there to be a part of the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, probably why Kross was like, I'm in love. Like she understands the business. She works hard and she's pretty.
She's probably like a kid in a candy store, I can imagine, backstage. Like Kross wanting to like learn all the new bits and all the different things that go on, when she got there.
I'm just saying, she's got to be decent if Kross fell in love with her, right? I'm putting her over, Kross.
So, and every match on the Circle 6 card was a lot of fun. It was over with the crowd. They were all good matches, and hers, was one of the top ones. It was a lot of fun.
How'd Massaro do? Did he lose?
So just I'll get to that. He was second. He was in the co-main. He was second to last match.
Yeah, because he's fucking over.
Yeah, no, it was great. So then you have the Conglomerate, which is T Rouge and Alpha Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too familiar with their names, but I saw them at the last Circle 6 show. Those guys are good. They're a lot of fun. If you see them at a local show, definitely go. They're a lot of fun. They defeated Peter Avalon and Rob Shit. I didn't know anything about Rob Shit. He's basically like a modern day, more fun, like Van Hammer.
Okay.
No.
But
that's a gimmick. I mean, that's certainly a good description.
Which version of Van Hammer?
Like the one that looks like the Disciple. I didn't want to say the Disciple.
No.
The Raven's Flock one.
Yeah, the fishnet one.
Yeah, but he has a personality and he's a lot of fun. So Peter Avalon comes out. I have a mystery tag partner. Blah blah blah.
And then Avalon took all of them.
And then Rob Shit comes out. I didn't know anything about him, but he's fun as hell. And Peter Avalon's just disgusted. And then they do a match. It's a lot of fun. Immediately, PP Shit, because Peter Avalon, PPA. PP Shit is a chant that just started erupting the whole match. And Avalon walked over to us and was like, "Grow up."
Solid. I love all of that.
That was a lot of fun. The Conglomerate won that one. Jake Christ beat Ares in a fun match.
Ares.
But
Ares is fire, man.
Ares got to do a bunch of cool shit. He just looks cool in general. It was great. Then there was
Ares worked earlier at the Republic of Lucha show, also, didn't he?
I think so. I was kind of surprised to see him on this one. And then after that was a no DQ match.
I gotta get the Republic of Lucha show's on Fight tomorrow.
It's going to be on Fight, yeah.
I
You
got
should
to
definitely watch it. It's
because I don't know
really-
any of the results either, so it hasn't been
I don't
spoiled
either.
for me. I'm gonna watch it.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure Bandito wrestled Lucha Libre luchadors. They'll take 15 bookings in a weekend with like one leg barely hanging on by a thread. You know.
Somehow Byron couldn't figure out how to get 2 shows in one weekend, but all the performers did. Go ahead.
I saw people from 2 shows.
I know.
So then
what?
Zach Wentz defeated Atticus Cougar in a no DQ match. It was interesting because Zachary Wentz does not do these types of matches, and he didn't really blade himself all that well. Of course, Atticus did. It was a fun match. No needles, but they hit most of the other gimmicks. It was really, really cool.
How was he received?
He was cheered.
Well,
Everyone loved him. Welcome back. You know, it's like, I mean, I think everyone understands that he was dumb a while ago and he did something stupid. And I mean, he sent a friend a joke that was in bad taste. We've all sort of done stuff that was in bad taste to friends. But then, you know, it got blown up and it's obvious. A big company, you know, when something public like that comes out about an employee, you can't have that represent the company. It's an obvious thing. You had to get fired, but it doesn't reflect upon his current day.
Oh no, I thought the company would see the Hitler thing more worse and a fireable offense than the allegations.
Yeah, that's what. That's what I'm.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I'm discussing.
So that's what I mean. I thought people might actually have a thing with the allegations from his partner.
I make no comment about anyone from the Northeast Ohio wrestling scene. That's my official comment.
I don't know the facts. I don't know anything about it. And
no, it's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy.
And like, you know, it's just like even with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard like trial, it's like that's their fucked up relationship and stuff they went through. It's not my business. And obviously there isn't actually clear cut good and bad person in it. It's not good versus evil.
I'll tell you my honest opinion on the Heard Depp thing. I really wish that somehow they had both won like $4 million from each other and both had to pay at the exact same time in a dead drop on a bridge that was blown up with TNT because they're both awful people. Everyone who's like, you know, that's defending Amber and saying that, you know, she got handed a raw deal and that there was a lot of victim shaming and stuff that went on and a lot of tactics that absolutely did happen. I get it. But also, she completely tried to fabricate stuff for the police.
Yeah.
To prove that she was right.
Maybelline.
It's like she probably did have some shit done to her, but then she tried to exaggerate that to prove a point to somebody to make it stop or to punish him or whatever. So then she's lying on top of whatever craziness he's doing. And the simple fact of the matter is anybody who doesn't think Johnny Depp was doing some crazy shit has not seen how much cocaine and whiskey this man can consume in a night.
Yeah.
I went to some of those clubs in Hollywood where Johnny Depp was in a back fucking room and you could like, trust me, the man did all the drugs. That does not make you a sane and rational person.
I went to school in Santa Barbara, and I knew I have friends who were kind of a generation before me as far as graduating classes. And there in Santa Barbara is a town where you have a lot of like LA Hollywood stars.
Yeah, a lot.
Where they would, even Michael Jordan, he would bartend up there for a weekend at O'Malley's, I believe. And it was like a whole thing. But the thing is, while they're there, they're fucking all the women. And like I knew it's not even like hearsay. I specifically knew of at least one story where a guy's girlfriend was like, so Johnny Depp wants to fuck me, so we're not together anymore.
Yeah.
And like, what do you say to that?
Johnny's a jealous guy and he wants his 20 girls to not be with anyone else.
Like this is shitty, but I guess
those people are and believe me, like you hear all these Hollywood rumors and this, that, and the other thing.
It's all true.
People, 89% of it is so true. I have been in some of those rooms where you're just like, okay, blinders on. I'm just going over here. I'm just gonna have a club soda and lime and leave because.
By the way, this is all allegedly, according.
My no! I've been to parties with the corn guys. Oh my god!
Those guys.
Yeah. My mum was at parties back in the day. She used to live in London. And she had Freddie Mercury turn up to a few events.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no. That's what I'll say on that one.
No.
Just no. Yeah.
All right.
Some of that stuff. It's not,
So anyway, if you want,
what else happened in Circle 6? You haven't got through the card yet.
If you have any,
you?
if you have any responses to what we just said, please contact Mask Republic's lawyers.
Wow.
We'll have a good response.
I love that. Byron, you haven't gotten through the Circle 6 card.
So after Zach Wentz beat Atticus Cougar, then the next match is Vinnie Massaro versus Gregory Iron. Gregory Iron is also like really dope. He wrestles with cerebral palsy.
Isn't he an actor? No, sorry, Jeremy Irons. Sorry.
Thanks, Meefloaf. That was totally worth derailing the whole thing.
Byron, you're supposed to just keep going. This is the 182nd time we've done this show. You haven't figured out how to finish a segment about a show, a wrestling show?
I gotta actually go back.
He hasn't finished anything in a while.
So, Jesus Christ. So anyway, my computer, by the way, is probably gonna stop working at some point. I'm getting like a vertical line.
Oh my God! Finish the Circle 6 show.
So anyway, so Jim, who's also been one of our co-hosts, Jim and I met up before the show, and Ron, by the way, Ron Olano, what up?
I saw Ron. He was still wearing his Lucha Underground shirt. He hasn't changed clothes since the last wrestling show I went to with him.
I saw them at the.
Omar was there as well.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, Ron was there, and then another friend of mine. It was her first wrestling show, at ever. And so this is.
Nice. Wait, stop. Byron, stop. Hold on. Wait, Byron, you took a pretty girl to a wrestling show.
Oh, we know what happens, Byron, when you do this.
Byron, you know what happens when you take pretty girls to wrestling shows.
No, but she's just a friend. My friend Ernie was supposed to.
But now you have no chance. Now she's filed a restraining order against you anyway.
Yeah.
Even when you were already in the friend column.
She's like, you into this?
Here's the thing. So, like, before the show, the three of us, Ron, Jim, and I, are like warning her.
Also, wait a minute.
We're downloading her all of what to expect.
Wait, so I'm going to the Twitter pictures right now because that girl that was next to you was actually cute. Like, I didn't know that you knew cute girls.
The other thing as well is the one person you don't take, who whatever, is a girl when Jim Velasco's around. Because Jim's a pretty dude and the women love Jim.
Well, you saw how much better Thunder Rosa's picture with Jim was than Byron.
I mean, when you look like Byron,
the thing about that is like, okay, that's mean because she took the picture. All right, so she takes a picture of us and Anakin, and like I'm stoked. That's the cool thing, and she sends it to Brian. It's awesome. And then then I got a copy. It's great. I didn't go like, hey, can you take a picture with me? Because I already had one.
Did she think she was with TJ Miller?
I'm happy with the picture. Anyway, so my friend though, we gave her all the warnings. We were there. She saw everything and like successfully dodged all the blood and broken glass and stuff. And then afterwards, and the dildo, and afterwards she was like, I had such a great time. This is way better than I expected. I loved it. And then I asked, do you think you'd ever want to go to another show? And she goes, no.
Succinctly says no.
Anyway,
experience, and then that's it.
But the four of us.
I get it. So the picture with you and Thunder Rosa is a selfie, whereas Jim brings a professional photographer with him.
Yeah.
Like Jim and Thunder Rosa look like they're on their honeymoon.
Right.
That's Jim and any lady though.
Well, I know.
That's true.
But Byron claims that he's got some swag. You look like Anakin's stepson.
I mean, my hair was a bit of a mess. I do feel really bad about that.
Look, to her credit,
I didn't have a mirror.
Thunder Rosa looks like $1 million in her picture with you two.
Absolutely.
You just look like a schmuck.
That's because Byron's next to her.
How am I supposed to look good in comparison?
I don't know how you're supposed to look good. You took a hot girl to a wrestling event and wore a Killer Clowns t-shirt, which you probably haven't even seen yet.
I've seen the movie.
Name me 3 scenes.
Pictures
Name
of the TV.
me 3 scenes, Byron.
Okay, that old hick shows up and he's like, "What's this thing? This looks fun. I'm gonna try and get free tickets." And then they kill him, and then they have the bodies in the cotton candy, and then.
But Byron, it was a joke. It was a joke. We need you to finish the sentence and show.
So anyway, we were eating pizza outside before the show, and we were texting Vinny to bring him some slices. and we weren't allowed to go backstage, but he came and said hi to us, and essentially he's like, save me some slices for the match. So we get to the match, and I have the pizza. By the way, I had the pizza, like I was sitting by the ramp and had the pizza underneath the ramp, and like the match beforehand, one of the guys went under the ring and he was looking for something. I'm like, oh fuck. Like, of all the places around the ring, he had his plunder right here, and like shoves the pizza and then grabs the box and gets thumbtacks or whatever, blah, blah, and that match happens. The pizza was fine. But for a second, I thought like 1,000,001, everything got ruined. So then Vinnie comes out, and before they're circling, and they're circling about to lock up, and I take the pizza box and I hold it up and I go, Vinnie. By the way, I'm pretty drunk at the time, so I'm trying not to mess up. I'm like,
I can imagine.
Do you want? I got some pizza for you, and I open it up and I show him these 3 limp, cold hours.
Meef, you remember that part of the show where I said I wanted to start a wrestling promotion? Byron can't even work a gimmicked pizza. There's no way we can pull this off.
No,
I mean, the other thing I would have done if Vinnie would have said to me, "Save me some slices," you know what I'd have done? I would have run off and got a new pizza.
No, he knew what we were doing.
Because I'm a nice guy. Yeah, but I would have got him a nice pizza.
All right, finish your story. How'd you gimmick the pizza, Byron? How'd you work this angle?
It was from Pizza Nista, whatever the fuck.
I'll go
back.
It
was really good.
I'll go back into kayfabe and tell me how you worked this spot with the pizza.
We didn't know that his match was at the end of the card. So I have the box open. I show him the pizza. I'm like, Vinnie, you want some pizza? Come on. And then Jimmy starts yelling, eat the pizza. And everyone's chanting, eat the pizza. And Vinnie goes, no, I'll have it after the match. I have to save it for after the match. So then I close the box and I leave it on the ramp. And then we're watching the match, and they work a pretty fun match. But at some point, Gregory Iron, he's a dastardly bad guy, and he had beaten Vinnie up a bit. Then he walks over towards us, looks me in the eye, and then takes a slice of pizza. I'm like, this isn't for you, guy. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. He's from Cleveland, Ohio, so you know he's sorry. And then
whoa.
So then he takes a slice of pizza. There were 3. He takes one of them, and he gets back in the ring, and he's gonna shove it in Vinnie's mouth and then finish him off and win the match. Vinnie overpowers him, shoves the pizza in Greg Iron's face, and then loads up the snoring elbow, knocks him out, pins him, pizza still in his mouth, and Vinnie wins. And then I give him the pizza, and Vinnie eats a slice of pizza as he does a lap around the ring, and his music is blaring. It's great. And then some fans ringside
see, and this is the crappy
jumped in the
part
ring to get the other slice, which
Vinnie loves wrestling all my Cleveland guys, which
Yeah.
is great. But it means that every time I see him here in Cleveland, he's got to work heel, and I'm the only person cheering for him. And I will cheer for him every time. I don't care.
It was a super fun match.
And last time he wrestled was like a half a block from Little Italy. He comes out like almost everybody in the crowd is Little Italy, but he's wrestling against a 216 guy. All they have to do is book him against a non-Clevelander, and he will be like the most over guy in Cleveland ever. But instead, he's going to get heel heat no matter what he does. So he worked the crowd heel when he was here. It was great, though.
Oh, wow. So it was a lot of fun. Both guys.
Wait, Byron, is there still another match on this card that you're still talking to me about?
Yeah, so it's a tag team death match, and it was the Young Studs, Bobby Beverly and Eric Ryan versus Journey Fatu and Juicy Fennell? Anyway, 2 big dudes, and they all beat the fuck out of each other. Glass spots, barbed wire spots, light tubes. It was just chaos, 4 guys, and lots of chaos. And then the Young Studs won. Whatever. It was just a cool match all around. It was the plunder match that you would expect, and it was a lot of fun.
So
and then I bought a Vinnie shirt.
You got to see a lot of our friends, and we know that Jim looks better on a girl's arm than you do.
We can
undeniable fact.
I want to talk about why I think that Will Ospreay should absolutely never wrestle again in AEW.
I got an argument on Reddit over this.
Cooking! The 2 biggest titans in the restaurant rescue game are finally facing off.
Beef
Irvine beat! Irvine! Watch out, Tapper, because Irvine's coming for you.
These two rivals are about to find out who is the ultimate restaurant rehabber.
There's no time, there's no passion, there's nothing in any of this. You guys are going at this ass backwards here.
After choosing between two local restaurants struggling to succeed, these masters will coach them through a dinner-takes-all battle.
Be quiet! We're gonna beat the hell out of you. You prepared for that? I'm prepared for that.
Each coach has 24 hours to create a new menu and renovate their restaurant before a head-to-head service.
Everything is just a little wild.
It's garbage.
3 restaurant rivalries, 2 legends, 1 champion.
Mr. Know-It-All didn't know it all, huh?
I knew you were going to say the bug.
Exactly right.
I knew it.
And that's how I beat you.
Yeah, I got a new job. It's not
Oh,
that
yeah.
show anymore, but that show's a hit. Anyway, absolutely, Will Ospreay has got to get off AEW TV immediately. Why'd you get in a fight with somebody about this, Byron? Do you share that opinion?
I shared that opinion, and someone was like, like Will Ospreay looks like a bigger star than all of AEW, right? Which is just like, it's a general statement, but also involves like production value and blah, 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 and presentation. And he's like,
Okay.
oh, like he's bigger than Punk and Moxley and blah, 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 and Bryan Danielson. I'm like, first of all, only one of them was in a segment or on the show, you know what I mean? Also, like, I'm generalizing, and like, obviously these guys have legacies Ospreay can't match yet because of where he's at in his career, but he's presented and carries himself like a bigger star than all of the AEW people.
Oh my God. Like, if he was like, if he came out and it said Will Ospreay is all elite, I'd be like, oh my God. Because he looks like a huge fucking star on the show.
And then this person said, okay, so you can't tell me that Ospreay is a bigger star than Keith Lee, Swerve, Malachi Black. And I'm like, no disrespect to those guys, but like, and I was big fans of them before they signed with WWE. But like, before you start that argument, let them actually have a good run on TV for a minute before you compare them to a former world champion.
And here's my thing. I love Tommy and Alistair, whatever the fuck his name is.
They're all great.
Days. I do. Like, I'm a huge fan. But at the same time, I'm just talking about how these people come off on AEW TV right now. Oh my God, Will Ospreay looks like the biggest star that's ever set foot in an AEW ring. He looks like a bigger star than all these guys. That's the problem. The problem isn't the fact that he's good or whatever. Yeah, honestly, I think Will Ospreay right now is what Kenny Omega was 5 or 6 years ago. I think he's at that level. He's probably juicing a little bit because you can get away with that in Japan.
Well, he also, I mean,
it's not against their rules, so I don't fucking care. Do whatever you got to do. But
he followed. I mean, he took the Kenny Omega career path as a junior to heavy, and he bulked up a lot. And I mean, he obviously put the work in.
It looks good on him though, and the way he's going in the ring right now. And oh my God, okay, so that
and he had Kazuchika Okada as his mentor. Like, he was wearing Okada jackets or robes to the ring. You know?
But you know what he got from Kazuchika was learning how to work the psychology, especially for Japanese crowds. Like, he's great at doing that, but he's also got the American shit down so much better than what AEW is presenting a lot of times. Like, and the stuff that he gave Dax, like Dax has had some quote unquote Meltzer 5-6 star whatever crazy matches recently.
Yeah.
But what Ospreay did for him made him look even better. He was able to sell stuff that nobody else has been able to sell for Dax. Like, Dax came off looking like a bigger star and they've been doing everything they can to make the FTR boys look like top guys. And it's not working as well as one match with Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Will made him look fucking phenomenal. Will made himself look phenomenal. And conversely, it sadly made everyone else look bad.
Would you say the perception maybe? I mean, because I don't watch it, but like when I watch all the guys and I know who's there and I know who's friends, is it like everybody's just happy to be there and not say be at WWE? So they all come across as kind of not being like Will Ospreay's a character, you know. He's this whole Whereas
an
everybody else
element.
is like, I'm this real guy, and I'm this real indie guy. I'm the guy who plays computer games and streams on Twitch for you.
Okay, this is all Adam Cole. This is all a shot at Adam Cole. No, but I think
But that's why I don't like Adam Cole for a start. But that's also like it
But I'll
applies
say
to a
this
lot of those
also.
wrestlers.
Adam Cole looks like a bigger star than most of the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about
And
Adam
he's
Cole
not
is-
in that spot and shouldn't be. But honestly, he does a better job with his segments right now. And this is the same issue that they were having a little bit with MJF, who's this up and coming young upstart. And yeah, he should be cutting hot promos. MJF should be doing everything that he did do. The problem is the fact that AEW can't find a way on their own to elevate a guy like an Ethan Page to be equally as credible as an MJF, because it's not his responsibility to do it. It's the company's responsibility. MJF just happens to be good at doing it on his own.
Hold on.
What? Oh, what?
Hold on.
You said, oh, and then you say, hold on. You can't interject with an exclamation and then say, hold on. There she is. La Mera Mera, the queen herself.
Under Rosa in the chat. What's up? Justin was apologizing to you earlier. Perhaps he'll do it all over again now.
Tell her to come on the show, and I'll apologize to her for exposing things that I probably shouldn't have.
Justin's a bad boy. He's a naughty boy. He's the LA naughty boy. I don't know.
But seriously, like that is part of my issue. I feel like Will Ospreay looked great, and he should look great. Like, he was supposed to do everything that he's going to do, but it's like, oh my God, you got to find a way to make everybody look like that, or make more guys look like that. That's the way I want Adam Page to look.
Yeah.
That's the way I want Ethan Page. That's the way I want anybody named Page to look.
The thing with
that's the way I want Paige Van Zant to look.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know her backstory. I want to know why she's a badass. I want to know that she's been on Dancing with the Stars and that she has 10 million Instagram followers. Like, I want a story there to build up, and I want all these people that I like to look like superstars every week, and not have the guy that's from some other promotion be the guy that looks like the biggest superstar.
I mean, ideally for me, you would have someone who's like a segment director, or you'd have a stage manager who is making sure each segment happens in its allotted time and is clear and focused in what it's doing. They know what they need. There's a lot of FTR, by the way. I think they're really great. I think though, like, they started off with a lot of mixed messaging and like fumbled storytelling, like their contract signing vignette, which is something you film and you could do multiple times. They, I guess, only did one take, and it was awful. Like, it didn't make sense. And they did this whole angle about tag ropes. Never once played into a match or anything, like you have a setup, no payoff storytelling. And a lot of segments who don't involve a Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho now, by the way, like, he does a good job of it, but like, he'll be in a segment that has to get across like 3 matches, 2 new characters, involve 15 people in the ring. And he's like, fuck it, gets in the ring, grabs the mic and says, hey, everyone, this is exactly what you need to know. I'm going to wrestle these guys. Says everyone's name on this show. I'm going to have a hair match against that guy here. Here are these 2 guys. They're badass, and they're with me.
Okay, that setup was a little wonky too. Plus the announce team, the card actually said the date wrong for the blood and guts match or whatever. And I was like, that was a little hot-shotted.
Yeah, but he's dealing with like big messes and just going full on exposition. But like, the thing with like a guy like Adam Cole is he will nail a match beat by beat. He will nail a promo in a segment beat by beat, perfect first one take, and that stuff, it's not stuff we see because we see something that happens. We're like, okay, it's supposed to go this way, Of course. All
right, Byron. So let me ask you this question.
But I will say Ethan Page is a guy who I think can be doing that, and I really hope that he gets.
I know you've
shine.
said that to me. I think 87% of the locker room could be doing that. I just want somebody to write them stories and help get them over on TV in a consistent fashion. I love a lot of that locker room, and I want to see them get the shine that they deserve. That's my point. And Will Ospreay came in there and did it himself had just a barn burner with Dax.
Yeah.
And put Dax way over. Like, dude, I legit like Dax Hardwood 10 times more because of the shine that Ospreay gave him. And I want to see that every week in storylines, in matches, in promos, in posters, in all the stuff. Like, it ticks me off when I watch the Pride commercial and I'm excited about the TV time that people are getting and getting themselves over in the Pride commercial more than whatever their current storyline is on TV.
Yeah,
that disappoints me.
I remember first time I saw Will Ospreay was 2015 Bola with Casey, and he was a scrawny kid, still doing amazing stuff, right? And then what put him on the map was that match with Ricochet. That put both of them on the map then. And if you
those guys can go,
but like if you compare,
that was the ultimate flippy shit match at the time. Like you could get no more flippy or shittier flippy shittest match of all time.
Yeah, it was
great. I don't know if that's the way to say that,
but like compare that match to Ospreay now to the match he had with Dax. Like
I think he also said recently that he had to change his style, didn't he?
He's had some injuries, like he, I don't know, almost broke his neck or something, but also he probably added over 100 pounds of muscle and this and that.
Yeah, but it still didn't stop him from flipping all over the damn place with Dax.
But
I mean, those guys were stiff, but protected each other. They flipped all over the place. I loved watching that match. That match was so entertaining.
But along the way, as Ospreay gained weight and was moving just like Kenny Omega did, moving up from juniors, dominating, getting a good run at the top of the juniors in New Japan, and then becoming a heavyweight. He was slowly progressing his match styles, and when he was doing a lot more of the high flying flippy stuff, all of a sudden everything came with intention.
Yes, look, I'm telling you, the moral of the story is Will Ospreay right now is Kenny Omega from 5 years ago. And doing a perfect job of it. But so here's what I want to know, Byron. Is United Empire versus FTR, Roppongi, and Orange Cassidy, is that the match we want to see? It's like they've done all this. They've made these guys look huge and important now. And look,
have they got the OT Outback guys though?
I got some about that. Hold on.
The return of Orange Cassidy, I thought was a great moment. I thought that sold it even more. You have a great match, and then you have some fun, interesting pay-per-view setup stuff afterwards. This is what I like from wrestling. I like when its storytelling makes sense. It all makes sense. But then after it, I'm sitting there and I'm going, damn, is this really the matches that I want for any of these guys?
I'm
surprised they took the Cassidy versus Ospreay, because I was thinking, I always thought Ospreay would be given someone higher up.
It's not even
not to be harsh on Cassidy. I'm just saying,
when
you bring in someone like Ospreay,
like we said earlier, AEW is booked towards what the IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, likes. So I understand that part of it, but the part of it that's weird to me is not stature-wise Orange Cassidy, because I actually think that's a great matchup. I think that physicality and presence-wise, it's like I kind of wanted to see Ospreay, especially after watching the match with Dax, go with somebody that was a little more of a bruiser.
But here's the thing. I mean, everyone knows that Orange Cassidy is fire ant, and Orange Cassidy can go toe to toe and can keep up with Will Ospreay in the ring. I think. They'll do the character work,
moveset wise,
yes.
And
then Ospreay can go over. But here's the thing that kind of solves
the strength power stuff is going to be a little lacking. Like you're not going to get to see Will do a really hard Japanese style or some of the stiffer stuff that he's doing with Dax.
Going to go back and work a junior match again.
Correct.
But it could be fun. But see that the thing is,
it'll be fun.
The thing that solves a lot of your questions is like number one, Andrade came out for a match as a surprise recently, and we're like, where's this guy been? And you might have seen a couple flare-ups on Twitter with him in Forbidden Door, because apparently there's obviously AAA guys can't work New Japan shows, but also with him, he was booked for like Triplemania. He had AAA bookings that made him not able to work Like just he was booked on a day, so he couldn't work a different show that same day, and that different show was Forbidden Door, so he wasn't able to do that. And then AAA took away the booking, so he lost it for nothing. So like he's mad about that. The thing is, he was supposed to work with Will Ospreay, and he was going to go to Japan, which is why he wasn't on AEW TV. He wasn't factored in those plans because he was going to go to New Japan on their shows and start setting up that program with Will Ospreay, which that's the match you're talking about. That's the match that you wanted to see out of him.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
If they both bring it, and then that all fell through. So
look, it is what it is. It just I loved the whole segment. I thought the match was great. The post-match stuff was great. It just at the end I was kind of like, yeah, but I don't know about this booking. Like it'll still be fun and hopefully they'll keep working this program. But you just turned Will Ospreay to like the biggest wrestling star in all of America, and I don't know that Orange is what I wanted to see come out of that.
Yeah, that's what because you can
Orange
obviously
Cassidy was a surprise,
But
but I would say
Orange
Cassidy is one of the top. I'd say top 10 stars, top 5 like homegrown AEW character stars in the company. I think.
I mean, I think my problem with Orange Cassidy is the fact that to me, he's still a top indie guy and AEW is riding that instead of propelling him as one of their top guys. It almost feels like AEW is actually riding off of his coattails to keep IWC credibility instead of giving him AEW credibility now that he's in a big time promotion. And for me, that's always, and there's a few stars at AEW. And I think Ethan Page, like you were talking about, a few of these guys that we've known who they are for a long time. We know why they're good. But whatever, it is what it is. So it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Are the Aussie Outback guys there, by the way?
What?
Are the Aussie Outback guys there?
Oh.
With Will
yeah. He has his tag team with him.
Not to be confused with Aussie Suicide.
That guy, whatever. So
is Forbidden Door a must watch?
From Brian. What's up, Brian?
I mean, well, look, this depends on who you're asking. If you're asking me personally, yeah, for me personally, absolutely it is. I mean, if for no other reason, and I hate to say it this way, if for no other reason than to see how New Japan stars fare on a big American pay-per-view. Now, my problem with Forbidden Door is that I should be going into it saying to myself, how good can AEW talent look with New Japan talent?
Yeah.
But the way that the pay-per-view came about, I think the way that it's announced, and a little bit of what we've gotten on TV so far has gotten me more excited to see what the New Japan guys are going to do in AEW and not vice versa. And maybe that's a little bit of what you're supposed to be selling too, because it is a little bit of an invasion thing. And the New Japan guys are coming to AEW's turf and basically one of their home buildings, where they first ignited the world. And it's interesting. I think for any real wrestling fan, especially an internet wrestling community fan, anybody who's inside at all or follows the sheets or anything like that has to be very, very interested in this pay-per-view. We get things like this every now and then.
Yeah.
But not very often. We've gotten more of them recently. There's a lot of crossover. I like some of the crossover stuff, and we're going to talk about some of that too with Slamiversary.
New Japan has been doing multi-company shows coming out of COVID on purpose. They've done shows with Noah. I don't know if they did a show with DDT, but they're, or All Japan. I mean, they are, and all of them have done big business.
And look, here's the thing. Will Ospreay did his job. In the fact that was an exciting setup, an exciting look at like, here's what happens when you get top guy Dax Harwood from our top guys over here with, one of the up and coming stars, the next Kenny Omega kind of level guy out of New Japan. Let's throw him in a ring, see what happens. Now this week, Mox and Tana have to tag together and they have to sell the show as good as Will Ospreay did last week. You think that's going to happen this week? It's on them. They are the pay-per-view buys. They are the guys that you're supposed to thank for the house. Yeah. They have to sell the show. This is my problem again with Will Ospreay. Like, you can't tell me right now in your heart, Byron, that you don't think that Will Ospreay did a better job of selling the pay-per-view last week than Tana is going to do this week, or Moxley for that matter.
I mean, I don't know about this week. I mean, Tana, big match, big show, Tanahashi, like he's been doing this his whole career. Last week, I thought that he did okay, but like they didn't let him do any promo. He didn't do anything except one sling blade, you know? And then we joked about how he couldn't find the hard cam on Moxley. And at some point, by the end of the match, Moxley's just like,
we didn't joke about it. Mox was the one joking about it.
And it's like after the whole schmoz, there's supposed to be a conflict between the two guys fighting. Mox has been hunting Tanahashi for many, many years.
No, but I get it. They're setting up for them to tag together this week. I get that. That's fine.
So yeah,
that setup works too.
But like, I mean, I think that's a big match, even though it's a replacement for Punk. Punk would have been great, but Mox Tanahashi is definitely the match.
I think Mox Tanahashi is a better match than Punk.
It's
Tanahashi.
Better, and it has better history because.
But would it have been Punk Tanahashi, or would it have been Punk Switchblade? Would have ended up being the match.
No, see what I think is, and this is going into what
you don't think.
The point I'm trying to make. Is that I don't exactly know, but I'm pretty sure Kenny's going to come back and fight Jay White. That's my opinion, because we haven't seen him come out and show like my leg is still broken or whatever.
Hey, you know what my theory is on that whole thing. I already said that I was pretty sure Kenny would somehow find a way to be involved in this, and that it would. I was pretty sure it was going to be a match. I don't believe in injury timelines.
Right, and then also maybe hopefully Ibushi comes back. But my whole idea
I don't know if that's
about
happen.
We'll see. But my whole idea of Forbidden Door, the promotion of it, that I have the feeling that I get from it is opposite TV. Like I remember distinctly TK said when they did the Sting reveal, which was a surprise. The Turner execs, people were like, hey man, don't do that again. If you have someone showing up with the name, we're going to advertise and sell commercials based on it. Okay. Right. And that's lessening the impact on the show, even though it was super awesome, but it's like saying, like, let's promote and sell tickets at the sacrifice of having.
I mean, look
and
at what Vince is doing with John Cena right now. It's like that could have been a big surprise, but Vince is like, no, we're going to advertise the hell out of that 4 weeks in advance.
And there's something to say for that for business. But I think for this Forbidden Door show, and I mean, there's a lot of great matches, but there's a lot of like on the top end of the card, there's a lot of unknown. I mean, I think.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though.
So
the Sting thing is one thing, but a returning guy who's an in-house guy showing up is different than promoting a big outside or acquisition.
But like Kenny coming back, yeah, that's true. That's kind of like a loophole in my mind.
And then you saw after Sting how they worked their acquisitions, and they did different things too. Like we drop them on a pay-per-view, but we don't let them talk, and then they have them talk on Wednesday or vice versa. Like they slowed it down with Mark Henry and Big Show and Christian Cage when all those guys debuted. They debuted totally differently.
Yeah,
what they did with Sting.
But I think Forbidden Door has been sold as a show. People will buy it as a show. Not so much because of the matches on it. Of course, you want to see the matches, but basically, if you're a fan of AEW, you're going to be a fan of New Japan. And this is going to be generally speaking, because AEW was born out of New Japan. AEW was born out of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega having a match, and then the Young Bucks and Cody and All Out and that stuff. It was born out of that. And so it basically, if you know that AEW New Japan are going to put a show together, you're gonna go. You're gonna buy the pay-per-view. I'm watching it with Casey this weekend. It's going to be a huge day for us. We're inviting friends who don't watch wrestling to hang out with us. It's going to be huge, regardless of the matches. Yeah. And so like that's why right up before the match, Jay White wins the belt off of Okada. And also, I really hope Okada gets to. I mean, you're having a show without Okada and Naito. That's weird.
I don't think Okada can come for some reason, though. I think that there was issues. I don't think Okada is coming.
I've heard I've heard a little bit of talk. I don't know the specifics. I mean, how do you not?
You use the rest of the roster?
Well, okay, so where's Naito?
Keep trying to figure out how to walk over here?
Your like biggest New Japan stars like Honma?
I know, but look, you got Switchblade, you got Will Ospreay, you got Tana.
Yeah,
I know you want some more of the Japanese guys. I get that because that, and they're the face of the product, and Okada would be a great one to have. And also, I thought that they were holding something back for Kenny.
Yeah,
I thought it might be Kenny Okada.
Do you reckon they'll put Kushida on?
Kushida is back. That's awesome. I mean, why not? Why not? He lives in Orlando still. He said he's going to move to Los Angeles to make the travel better and probably work with the dojo more. And
maybe, but also don't forget what I said earlier. Tony does book for the internet wrestling community, and he took a lot of shit on the length of the last show. And I think that is probably resonating in his head now. So now he's trying to figure out how to make Forbidden Door a 3-hour show instead of a 5-hour show. Or, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Make it like Triplemania. Make it 7.
But he's a numbers guy, and they were pushing the show all night long, and I think
Slamiversary felt great. It was an exact 3-hour show, bro.
But I think the 7-hour AEW pay-per-view did really good business. It did the business it was supposed to.
Well, it did the business he was supposed to do. He got his overrun thing or whatever. But again, Tony doesn't always do stuff based on business. He does not want to tick his fans off. He does not want to take a bunch of crap with fans talking shit about bad Dynamite, bad things exploding. He doesn't want to take shit about pay-per-views that are too long. He will find a way to avoid that in the future.
Do you know what I quite like? I quite like WrestleMania 2-nighter thing.
It's
for this?
So much better.
I think
just for WrestleMania.
But I think for something like Forbidden Door, you could set things up on night one, or have things.
I mean, I think the way to do it would be to do one of their expanded semi-premium events on Rampage, like do a 3-hour Rampage on the same weekend in the same venue or whatever, leading into it. So you have this huge Rampage where you let some of the lower guys go at it, do some undercard stuff, build it up, and then you do a 5 or 6 match at most pay-per-view. And honest to God, if Forbidden Door is more than 5 matches, I swear to God that the internet community is going to shit on Tony so hard.
I don't know.
Look, there's a couple other things from AEW I want to talk about, though.
So,
I hope that there's going to be some surprises. We got to talk about it more. You can interject. Listen, I thought Jericho was going to lose his hair. I really did. It makes complete sense that Ortiz did, but I really thought that Jericho had booked the whole thing for himself to lose his hair. He didn't. Right. It was the more obvious than obvious finish. But look, Sammy and Ty Conti are back with Jericho, whatever. Yeah. I think that's a great place for them. Byron and I have talked about this. Sammy being back in with Jericho, I think is a really good fit. I think Ty's going to learn more about the business in the next 2 months, probably than she's had a chance to learn yet. So good for them. Congratulations. That's like hitting the lottery for a wrestler.
Yeah,
to leave Jericho's group and then get back in Jericho's group when it's the new group. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like the group needs it a little bit. Like I like 2.0 and those other guys being in there. I have absolutely no issue with it. I know some people have complained about it, that Jericho's with scrubs or jobbers or whatever. I like that. Like I like him being with those guys. Hager is the heater.
Jericho's flock.
But I also think that having Sammy back there and the guy that has a big enough name to get Jericho's name put into other situations helps story-wise, TV-wise, everything. It's just a good plan.
As far as Sammy's character, he's been floundering, and we've talked about this since he left Jericho. Like when he was with Jericho, speaking of Jericho, just being really good at exposition in his segments, and you always know what's going on. You always know what to think about it. Are you supposed to not like this? Are you supposed to like this? And that's the same with Sammy. When he was a bad guy, you knew he was a bad guy. When he is winning the TNT belt and like beating Cody, you knew okay, this is a guy who we've seen like earn his way up the card, and he's getting some success, and he works really hard, does cool moves, and like I cheer for him now. And then he split from Jericho, and it was a lot of mixed messaging. How do we feel about Sammy? Oh, I like his matches, but I don't like him. I don't know if I should cheer, if I should boo. And then of course
it was
lining
too
up
convoluted.
against.
This is just all so much better.
And and then he does a segment, and he stands next to Jericho, and you're like, I know how I feel about this guy.
Hot take for you, Byron. Here's my hot take. Let Wardlow run through the entire locker room. Tony, let Wardlow run through your buddies. And I mean run through them. I mean squash the shit out of them. I get the whole people's court thing. It's fine. But, well, actually, I don't get it because anybody who's face down, whether they're in a pile or not, is not being pinned. Weird. They have to at least be on their back. That was fucking didn't like it. It just irked me the whole time I'm watching the segment. And the segment was fine. I have no problem with them doing this. But here's the thing. I get it. You want to make him look like a monster. You want to give him squash matches. I get it. But you're going to have to let him squash 20 fucking names that you don't want to let get squashed. It's what was done with Goldberg. It was what was done with Batista at one point in time. It's what's been done with a lot of guys doing the monster thing.
Yeah.
Wardlow's gimmick is not new, but it hasn't been done. It hasn't been done in a while. And Wardlow is the guy to do it. I completely back Wardlow being the new Goldberg. I completely dig it. But it was real hard to book TV with Goldberg because every guy in the back knew they had to fucking lose to that clown. They hated it. They didn't want to lose to some football player who couldn't fucking work. The boys were not thrilled about it. And guess what, Tony? You're going to have to take that on your chin. You're going to have to do exactly what Bischoff did and tell the whole locker room, fuck you, job to Wardlow tonight. Go out there, lay down for Wardlow, and do it in like 2 minutes and get none of your shit in. I'll get you back on TV next week to get your heat back somewhere else. He's got to run. I want him to run through all the mid-card guys. I'd even like to see him get a Moxley or a Daniel Bryan or one of those veteran guys under his belt. Maybe do a Sting, one of the, like, he needs to run through the place. He's got to.
Here's the thing. He was on TV with MJF. He was on TV in the MJF Punk segments, getting over, right? And then this 20 whatever, when he beat up 20 security guys in the ring. Okay, that's a cool feat. But in all honesty, as a TV segment, that's a huge step down. And like his momentum is dropping.
They made it into a comedy segment because those are all up and coming guys, and no offense to them, but they're working, they're flailing, they're feeding and flailing. That's what they're paid to do. That's what they're supposed to do. But then it turns it into a comedy spot, even though he's playing it serious. Yeah. Wardlow's playing it serious. Wardlow's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And honestly, it was fine to do that spot. It was fine, but that's done. You cannot keep him there. And if it's just Peter Avalon that comes out and bumps to him next week, or Sonny Kiss or somebody else off of Dark, okay, that's fine for 1 week or two. But dude, I'm telling you, this will be the proving factor of, does Tony want to actually make money, or is this just a hobby for him? If you want to make money, you got to let Wardlow run through some people, at least up to the TV belt. Maybe you don't have to go full Goldberg with it. You don't have to like have him march all the way to the world title after 200 something wins or whatever. You don't necessarily have to go the full Goldberg, but at the same time, you have to go a certain distance with it and take it seriously. And if you do that, what you will get is pay-per-view buys off of Wardlow doing absolutely nothing. You will be putting in the time to create free money. And here's the thing. Wardlow's demographics with women, through the roof. They're great.
People also tune in to see if he's going to lose or not.
Yes. The dudes
just
want to, the internet wrestling community wants to see if it's going to happen, wants to see what Tony's going to do with it. Okay. The bro dudes want to see him. Yes. Jade is the other one for sure. We have talked about that. And it's working, but they also don't have to go as far with her because she can sell a different way than Wardlow can. Wardlow, they have to build him so the ladies love him, the bro dudes want to see him kick ass, and the internet wrestling community questions how far Tony's going to let it go. Is he going to go full Bischoff with it? Is he going to stop it? Is he going to job out to, Danhausen next week? Like, what's going to happen? He's got to run. Tony's got to feed up some Christians to the Lions.
There's a lot of momentum that they've invested in the word, though, that they have to maintain and elevate.
But it's 100% worth it. I personally believe the payoff is guaranteed. Just do it. And oh my God, the ghost of Matt Hughes, my friend, my buddy, who I have worked with. It took the air out of that segment, bro. It was like, I love Matt and I loved him being there, but they should have kept him in the audience. Like Tyrone's my boy too. Like I know all the Tyrone's people. I talked to his mom and his sister about doing a show for him and a bunch of stuff. Like, those are two of my boys. Those are like my real, actual homies. And the whole turn of Tyrone going face and all that stuff, perfect. But Matt Hughes standing there next to him, and a lot of people don't know what happened to Matt Hughes, so they didn't understand. You just hear the name Matt Hughes, the last thing you remember is him slamming somebody and knocking them out kind of shit. Like, people don't understand. He was on the train tracks. Some bad things happened. He's been rehabbing. People didn't even know if he was going to make it. Like, I talked to his wife after that shit. That was like bad news, bad stuff. And then God bless him for being there. And I love that, and him standing up and getting a little local flavor. He's also not a city boy. Like, Tyrone is the same, like the city guy. Matt's the country boy. So like, all those people in the arena, they're not really Matt's people either. And I think people were just like, I feel like it didn't make the segment work, sadly, because of the afflictions that he's dealing with now. It's not the same as like getting up and raising a fist at a UFC event.
He was supposed to be physically intimidating.
Right. And that was the way they played it, when it's like, no, like,
he could barely walk into the ring.
You give Matt his fucking props for the fact that he's there, bro. Like we're happy Matt's still alive.
Yeah.
It's just like, and Tyrone can go. Tyrone can get up in there, and he knows he can work. He'll work he'll bump. Like, put Tyrone all up in there. He's the man. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, we got the whole Mox Tanahashi thing. We talked about all that. Miro and Ethan Page. Oh my God. They just, I have nothing against Miro or Ethan Page. AEW just did absolutely nothing to make me care about that match.
It's unfortunate.
Just absolutely nothing. It was like, it felt purely like filler. Tony Storm gets over on Britt Baker. I think we know where that's going. That's going to lead to a showdown with one mighty La Mera Thunder Rosa. And we'll see where that goes. That's going to be a good match. No, we know the match is going to be good. I'm more concerned with what's going to happen after the match, what Tony's doing. I have trouble thinking about it.
I mean, as someone who wants to see Thunder Rosa champ, I would not mind in general Tony getting a run at this point. If Thunder Rosa was getting
if it stays a feud,
and if Thunder Rosa was getting a run of substance in the meantime.
Okay, so here's my real question about it. Do you feel like a Thunder Rosa Tony Storm feud could have as much longevity and fire as the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa feud? Because let's be honest, that's where we're setting the bar in AEW's women's wrestling, period, is the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker feud. That's the best feud they've had. They've gotten the most TV out of it. It's put the most people in houses. It's put the most people at shows. It sold the most pay-per-views for the women's division, like of people like coming to a pay-per-view to see specifically that. Yeah. As great as the match was with Deeb, I don't think like people saw it and were like, okay, that's great. I'm glad I saw that. But I think for Thunder Rosa Britt Baker, people were like, no, I'm buying the pay-per-view because I want to see that. Do you think that Tony Storm Thunder Rosa can be that?
I think it can. I don't think they've done the promotion that either of the two stars warrant.
Okay, so maybe I'm asking the wrong question.
But like I line them up together and you go, so you have one person who's consistent, Thunder Rosa, who's bigger and better than she was at the beginning of the Britt Baker thing. But then her dance partner, Britt versus Tony, Tony has excelled in every single segment that she's been in addition to in the ring. So, a line by line on paper, Tony Storm is a better dance partner, well-rounded dance partner than Britt Baker, and she has a character and she has a star power behind her where people already care about her, whereas Britt Baker was on her way up doing the
so
DMV
here's
thing.
the other question.
So I think that I think they can do something bigger and better, but you have to, it's a story being told.
But that's what I'm asking. So I think the better question is, what does it need to make that happen? Because obviously that's the money that you need. That's the matchup that you need. So what needs to happen?
I think this would work. I think it's interesting who it's coming from. If Mel can act like a bitch, it might make it interesting and have Tony be a face, because Tony's obviously a baby face.
Well, look here, and here's some of the good part of some of the bad stuff that has come out of the last couple of weeks is the fact that I think that maybe some people would get behind hating on Thunder Rosa.
Yeah,
now,
and
this is difficult.
I want a fantasy book real quick.
This is difficult for me though. Because here's my issue. I think that right now you have a positive role model Latina in a powerful position. I think that is hard for some people to make palatable, and I don't care, because I think that the way that it becomes more and more palatable in society in general is you shove it down their fucking throats right now. You shove that image of a powerful Latina woman out there as the good guy down their fucking throats, because it's culturally more important than selling pay-per-views. I don't know if Tony Khan believes that. I believe if Brandy was still at the company, that would be on people's minds, because I've had those conversations with Brandy.
You know me. I believe that sometimes Tony forgets Latinas exist.
Oh, I get a text. I get texts or DMs from J-Man. That's where he'll shout out every time there's an AEW match, and like Thunder Rosa or the Lucha Brothers, they end up losing, and he'll DM me, "Why does Tony Khan hate Mexicans?"
Wow.
And it's like, I don't know. I'm just saying what he's sending me.
Here's the other thing, though, about Penta and Phoenix that everyone does have to understand.
Right.
They're not just Tony's guys. And if they were exclusive to AEW, I really do think that they would be getting better runs. People forget they still work AAA. They still work a lot of other dates and do other stuff. Mm-hmm. They're not firmly in his pocket. I just don't see Tony putting them over like they deserve to get put over. We'll see with Penta and this thing. Like, I think the build up for the next match is good, and we'll see if Penta moves on or if it's Tommy End.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get another DM from J-Man after his match against
of course.
Malachi Black.
And I'm sure Casey won't even watch anymore, because his rule about not watching stuff where Pentagon loses.
Oh no, it's just there'll be a nice new repackaging of Pentagon going, oh, he's obscure, he's really dark, he's like dark, like Tommy End's dark.
No, you got the new
dark people. And then Pentagon will come out and do all these little thing, and then it'll be like, oh, where's his dark bit gone?
Here's the thing though with Thunder Rosa though. I don't want to lose the point, because here's the thing. We absolutely know that Mel can work heel and do a great job of it. Right. And in an organization that is 61% and going down of Latinos, that is fine. But I really don't know if I like the idea of the one true babyface Latina on the roster all of a sudden being heel. I also feel like AEW has too many heels in general.
I will say this about Thunder Rosa.
But Tony's going to be a face. So yes, you might have an issue.
So, I mean, to work the program and to be able to get money out of it and have it work for a long period of time, and get people invested, need to have the clear. But another thing,
wrestling fanboys in their basements are gonna love Tony Storm and her butt cheeks as a face. Period.
But, I mean,
they are.
Okay, we don't
She's
listen.
lost her butt cheeks, there, hasn't she?
No, she's still. I think.
No, they've gone away.
I don't know or care one way or the other. I'm just saying the mentality of
She's
the
still
audience
Australian.
is going to be prone to supporting her.
You know, my absolute 1,000%
I will.
anti-Australian stance.
I think there's two things to take into consideration. I think that Thunder Rosa can have a match, have something, a couple loose ends, and then go and work AAA with Taya, and then go and she has one match with
No, wait though, because Taya called her out and said, "You know where to find me," but I know where to find Taya, and that is not necessarily always AAA. What if she finds Taya somewhere else? Taya's call out doesn't necessarily have to be AAA, does it?
But Mel can do some high profile stuff elsewhere while Tony does something, and then they could come back and do like step 2.
Okay, but that's also my thing. So should she go and work? If she turns heel AEW, does then that mean everywhere else that she goes, she's working heel? Because that might not work. She's so huge on some of those indies, and she would be, I think, a huge face in Mexico right now.
Well, I mean, there's just an innate quality to Mel that just you want to cheer for. You at a wrestling show.
I don't know. She's pretty easy to hate on too. she can do heel.
But yeah,
I've
I'm
had
saying
a
like
good time disliking her before in the past, and I think a lot of people would enjoy that.
I know you could tell that story. I'm just saying, to your point, going to these indie shows, you don't have a lot of background. You have a star showing up, and you respect them, and you cheer for their performance. So there's that. But so I think something that you can do with her is you can kind of run the Bret Hart character, the Bret Hart angle, where she gets booed in America, gets booed in her Tony Storm segments.
I don't think that works for her personally. I think, look, here's my thing. I think you got to push her face as long as you can get away with it. And then I think once she goes heel, she stays heel for the rest of her career, because I think she's going to be great at it. I think she can kayfabe it everywhere she goes. I think that she's also one of those type of people that once she pisses you off the right way, you're going to love to hate her forever. You're never going to want to see her baby face again. And I don't think anyone's going to buy her baby face again. I don't think she can flip-flop. I don't see her as a person that can go back and forth. She's not a Seth Rollins that can work it both ways all the time. I think that once she goes heel, she should, and it will probably be good for her money to stay heel and work the shit out of it for many, many years, maybe 5 to 10 years. So that's why it's a big, big decision. And if that decision falls solely on Tony Khan, that could have a huge impact on her personal business outside of AEW and what she's able to do. I also don't forget she's going back to Combates America to do commentary and stuff like that. And I think that going into things like that in her career right now, she's got to be a babyface. I think that's just the way. I don't know. But at the same time, look, if you're trying to get money out of a feud with Tony and Thunder Rosa, Thunder Rosa as the heel is the money feud. But then does that fuck up the feud with Britt Baker for a comeback on that one down the line? I don't know. That's just tough.
Does she do another match with Britt Baker? I don't know if
at some point in time.
Well, yeah.
There's a rivalry there. All right. So let me we talked about the Switchblade thing. I want to get off of AEW for a minute. I want to talk about the McMahons. In promoting this show, I promised you that I would tell you who was going to win the succession of the McMahons. We know it's not Shane.
Nah, it never was.
No, Shane just doesn't want to do that. He would have done that at a certain point in time, but he has his own reasons for being soured and having moved on. Stephanie is coming back. Stephanie is back now, but I want you to look at what Vince McMahon is doing right now. And it's not quite fire sale, but what Vince is doing is he, from what I understand, he has changed a lot of things in the past 4 or 5 days with creative. Like a lot of the predictions that we made, a lot of predictions that a lot of people made are going right out the window right now. Vince is in-house. We kind of said this would happen. He's got nothing else to distract him from creative.
Vince is in-house. He can't get down the
step. I love that he can't walk down the steps, but he can jump down them. Like Vince is such a strange creature.
When the news comes out and then like Vince McMahon is stepping down as CEO, brought his daughter back to replace him, which effectively just means it's like a lateral movement. Like and then on top of that, like, okay, I'm going to step down as CEO. Now he's just having gratuitous segments on the wrestling show. He's in charge of creative and which is a thing to talk about, but also like he's just going out there and being on TV just to be on TV. He's basically just like, he's wagging his dick around. Like, look at me, I'm Vince McMahon. What are you going to do about it?
Right. And he's getting the pops and the chance. But the funny thing is that YouTube segment of SmackDown, last I checked, it had 27,000 likes and 24,000 dislikes.
Wow.
But also 24,000 people watched it long enough to give it a thumbs down. But they're also mad about it. Like people like, and here's the thing. Vince knows controversy creates cash. He's going to ride it to the bank. But here's the part that is worrisome. Steph is taking over CEO. She's back at the company, which is great because Nick Khan kind of pushed her out because she wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot, because she was in one of those positions where they actually need work and ideas and whatnot. And honestly, Stephanie as CEO is a better look, because really what she's there for as CEO is quality control and direction, but not day-to-day functionality. I actually think she'll perform better as the next higher up position of CEO than where she was when she was the whatever vice
when
president.
you look at the thing of most of her work, and the reason she wasn't doing so well with the other roles is because she was doing all the, the Make-A-Wish and the foundation things and all those outside making the company look better roles.
But which was great, but also they needed more and they needed specific things, and it's a role in other corporations. It's a role in other corporations that is hugely key, and the people that have those roles went to Harvard and Wharton and crazy schools to learn how to specifically run multi-million-dollar companies in their marketing and PR and public strategies. She just didn't have that experience, but the experience she does have is, I have grown up around this company, this business, these people, this type of stuff, this type of culture. I understand the product. She doesn't understand all the marketing strategies and key points and demographics. She knows some of it from having learned on the job, but absolutely somebody more trained should be in that position. And she should be overseeing them and asking the questions of, well, how does that fit into the image of the company? How does that fit into this business strategy, or the fact that we're trying to increase stock prices and whatnot? I think Nick Khan's even going to be happy to have Stephanie in that role right now, even though he's basically the person that got her pushed out in the first place. But that's because of what he's trying to do. Now, poor Nick Khan has done all this fucking work, got the stock prices going the right direction, and then now Vince, Johnny Ace, Kevin, all these guys and their penises and their money, and just poor Nick Khan. Nick Khan's
the Kevin Dunn one came out to be fake, wasn't it?
It came out to be inaccurate.
Yeah, inaccurate. So okay.
He doesn't currently sit on the board, so he can't be accused of what they were accusing him of. It's similar to the whole Vince thing too, of, when it first came out, it was Vince paid her out of payroll or whatever. And then that's why Vince is just laughing like, no, if that's the accusation, I gave her my own money. Yeah, I paid her off. Yeah, I had sex with her. Yeah, I handed her to Johnny Ace or whatever the hell it is, but I paid her my own money, so it's fine. It wasn't the company money. I'm a sleazy, dirty, nasty old man that does carny shit, but at the same time, I do it with my own money, kid.
It's Nick Khan is trying to get in and out of corporate WWE before the carny shit really ruined it, and now it's just going full McMahon.
Well, here's the problem now.
He's cleaned too much, and then he's unearthed the dirty underbelly.
We're already talking about Mrs. Balls more.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Vince. We're already hot-shotting new angles. We're already bringing talent back earlier than scheduled. Here's what I think is going to happen. With Vince not running things at the top and still running things, but running them from the bottom up, he's bringing back guys before they're supposed to come back. He's changing things. He's spending the budget while it's on his shift. And he's either going to fuck them by having spent the whole budget while he's down there on the ground floor running things, or leave, or he's going to make it look like all the big shit happens when Vince is in the house. Bring back Brock. I'm going to get like all these guys that he's got under contract. He's going to shoot his wad now. He's hot shotting. Yeah. I've heard that all the plans have changed now. He's bringing back other talent. He's changing booking on stuff. He wants all his big names to come in now. He wants them to do longer runs. He's going to spend the budget on that. And then later, when he's not the guy running it, or if he gets pushed out, somebody else is going to be left with shit. All the big names who are on, temporary contracts or whatever, their days are going to be used up. So they're going to have to go beg Nick Khan or Stephanie or whoever's actually running it then for money. And Vince will have had his jollies while he was driving the boat. Okay? He's going to use it up, do exactly what he wants. And it's a shame because I've been commenting recently, I've actually liked Raw. They've been doing these slow builds, long programs, giving people TV time, making shit make sense, people getting good work in. Like, oh my God, I found myself watching a Veer Mahan segment the other day, and I was like, yeah, this isn't bad. The return of Elias and the whole thing, that the KO Ezekiel story is still going. That started before the Cody Seth Rollins feud. Cody had time to show up, make a debut, win 3 pay-per-views, and get hurt in the amount of time that this one feud with Ezekiel and KO has still been going.
Do you think Vince
and it's not a bad feud?
Vince is going to book Cody's return like in 2 weeks. It's like not even
I still think that I think that there's a chance that Cody could still be at Money in the Bank, but I don't know because now Vince has shaken up everything. We'll see. It's just Nick Khan has his work cut out for him because Nick Khan's job, for those who don't know, who live under an internet wrestling community rock, Nick Khan's job, and the reason why he's become so important is because what he is doing actually benefits them all. It benefits Stephanie. It benefits Triple H. It benefits Vince McMahon. It benefits the talent. It benefits USA Network. It benefits Fox. It benefits everyone. His sole job is to make WWE be worth more money. And for all those mark-ass idiots who think that that is by booking a better wrestling show, you're wrong. If you think that that is by increasing T-shirt sales, you're wrong.
You got to look at the macro.
If you think that is by getting better ratings, you're wrong. It is by what is called positioning. It's already been working without getting better TV numbers. In fact, with some TV numbers going down. It's not about the TV numbers. The only reason that TV numbers matter is because of how much people are going to pay for your TV rights. If you have other ways to increase that money and get worse ratings, that is what you do. It's less work for more money.
Yeah, it's not about the shows. It's not about the star ratings, the T-shirts. It's the TV deals. It's the honestly,
this is how the NFL got to be so huge. Yeah, football games are good, but we all know half the football games aren't good because they're shittier teams.
Yeah.
But yet the TV rights are still through the roof because it's the imaging. It's the public persona of the entire sport as a thing. That's what Nick Khan's doing.
And like you do deals like the Saudi deal. It's blood money. I don't like it. I think they're all bad guys. The whatever Crown Prince, but that show, I was talking to actually J-Man earlier, like that, or not J-Man. Rob Viper tweeted something about like, here's your WrestleMania main event because Gronk retired. I'm like, why would he do WrestleMania? He can half-ass a match at a Saudi show for more money. And Rob was like, oh yeah, I forgot WrestleMania is now the number 2 show, and it is because the Saudi shows bring in way more than WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, no, because if you look at WrestleMania overall and everything that it brings in, and
like the whole week,
it's responsible for the tremendous deal that they're getting from Peacock right now.
Yeah,
it's a bigger moneymaker. But at the same time, no, the Saudi thing. And here's the thing: I didn't like the Saudi deal for a lot of reasons, but at the same time, I heard one of the women from WWE talking about it and saying, look, she couldn't wrestle on the initial show or whatever. She was upset about the fact that WWE would do business to it, but then saw the trickle down effect and the positive trickle down that it had on the company. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you do a deal with the devil, and at the same time, it pays off. It saves more Make-A-Wish kids. It makes the team get paid more money. These things are really hard to do in business, like to figure out. It's like, do you cut a deal with Exxon, or, that it'd be all well and good to cut that same deal with, Nature's Valley granola bars, but they can't fucking pay you like Exxon.
Yeah.
And can you do some good with the money? And the other thing is, Vince is a carny. It's a circus. Man, the circus doesn't say we're not coming to this country because it's communist, or this place because the circus is saying we're coming because we're carny as fuck and we want to find a way to bilk you for your dollars, and we'll entertain you in the process of doing that.
Right.
That's Saudi Arabia.
And it's and you look at what are they bringing out to Saudi Arabia? Are they bringing 5-star matches or this or that? There is a thing with like the old stars those guys want to see, but what they're bringing is, here is content. Here is a live, unique show.
We're
right, and that's what they're selling.
Wrestling show should, if it thinks like the circus, it's like, what is the least amount we can give you for the most amount of money?
Right. And so
and this is why Tony Khan also needs to stop doing 7-hour pay-per-view.
And that's why the money makers. Like I had a bit of revelation about this when I was producing, directing Vanilla Ice Project. When Discovery took over scripts, we stopped doing smaller trade outs with local companies because it made the global companies, the bigger commercials, worth more. And it's like, oh, we're thinking much bigger picture. Sure. Okay, this guy's like, I could give you free Windows or something if you show my logo, and you're like, fuck, I have to pay for Windows because of the deal. But you're making really 5 times that by doing that. It's
really funny too, because I had the opposite problem happen with one of my companies that took one of my trade outs. They were happy to do it, and they were like, look, we'll do this deal with you. We like you and whatever, but we want to talk to your boss's boss's boss, because what we're interested in doing is a much bigger deal with Discovery overall. Like, put us in touch with that, and Discovery on this particular show was still doing like the put $2,000 worth of product and we'll put your name in the thing. And they were like, okay. And this company was like, that's great. We want that on 40 shows in a partnership with these guys, and we'll buy ad time and this and I pass them up to my boss, and they're doing a bigger deal now through network. Had nothing to do with my show. But that is the correct thinking a lot of times. And that is the way to do it. And those are the levels of people that are playing this game. And Nick Khan is very good at playing that game. And I'm sorry, weekly wrestling fan that watches wrestling TV that doesn't know who Nick Khan is or what the fuck he's about or know why it has to affect your wrestling TV at all. But I'm here to tell you, Nick Khan is single-handedly the most important person in the entire wrestling business right now. What he is doing right now is going to shape what you watch as a wrestling product from every single company for the next 10 years. This is what is going to determine all of the TV rights for everyone, including AEW. Just because Tony Khan is rich does not mean that the leader of the pack is not going to set what the TV rates are that he's going to get for his next Discovery Warner thing. And I'm also here to tell you that you can kiss Dark and Elevation goodbye at some point in the near future, because Warner's not going to go for that shit. Those shows are not going to stick around. That's either going to become Discovery Warner Brothers programming, or it's going to go on HBO Max or somewhere else, or it's going to disappear altogether. They are not okay with him putting money into YouTube's pocket I can tell you that right now. That shit
Oh, really?
will not. YouTube is not a network for people that they're in business with to place content on that way.
That was like
not first run prime content of a sporting event. Nope.
That was
not gonna
specific. Last. That was specific stuff they were doing at the beginning. But you just said it though. First run, live sporting content, and that's what these things are.
It's
and that's
too valuable in the streaming world now. Even shows like Dark and Elevation are too valuable. It's
unique, new stuff every week, and these companies have more than one. Whereas you have a show like a phenomenon like Lost or Breaking Bad or whatever, 6 Feet Under. What is it? I don't know. Just all of them now. You do it, and then you do the last season, and you split it into 2 years to try and milk the most. Game of Thrones milk the most. And the thing is, like, you get 1 hour a week. It costs billions of dollars to make it. Great. They're mini movies, and they're fantastic, and they're phenomenal stories. It's awesome.
And don't forget that Discovery Warner now has 2 major streamers under their belt that they got to figure out what to do with and fill content with and get people to subscribe for or merge them. They already cut their 3rd streamer with CNN Plus. Okay. They got 1 month and they cut it immediately. Yeah. And then they also have these other little streaming platforms where you can get the TNT app or this app or Warner Media sports products in certain places and this, that, and the other thing. They have to figure out how to bring all that together. And everybody who's out here doing stuff on the wings, like Tony is doing with that YouTube shit, he'll get away with it for as long as those deals are there and they'll let him keep his content. But he's also then got to figure out now what to do with Ring of Honor. And he's got to he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And he's in a good place. Warner Brothers is happy with him, and it's going to be huge TV deals, but also very, very much so. And I know this sounds weird. Tony Khan should be wanting Nick Khan to succeed.
Yeah.
Because that's now,
comparable.
As much as they're enemies, they're not. Those 2 guys are both forging the future for what wrestling is going to be in the streaming era.
I mean, you only have to look at the WCW versus WWE in the 90s. They were doing the best business when they were both like kind of competing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an important point to make, and it's just it's laughable. You look on the IWC.
They're not competing now, though. This is not a
competition.
competition.
You know what I mean? When they need each other to succeed, to succeed themselves.
And in this era, I think it's the opposite of what that era was. Like the Forbidden Door is almost the right idea, and the fact that Tony shouldn't be mad about anything WWE is getting right. They're far and away the clear winner right now. They're going to be for a long time. He's not going to be allowed to go head-to-head against them like Bischoff did. So why even bother? The whole point is let them win, and you win for it. Yeah. Unlike when you needed the head-to-head competition to show the world that everybody was interested in seeing who wins. Right now, we need more the cooperation and collaboration of the wrestling industry as a whole, proving that it knows its place in the new streaming market world better than these guys that are coming in at these networks that used to run cable and used to run TV, that run ads on top of everything. Like wrestling has actually been here for a while with pay-per-view models and streaming, and the whole industry understands this better already.
Well,
and here's an idea.
Here's the thing that is just, black and white. No offense, Meefloaf. WWE made the WWE Network, which was a success so much that NBC bought it
and folded it into Peacock because they needed every single one of those subscribers to be a Peacock subscriber.
And to what you were saying, Justin, because we've talked about
for the same price, by the way, that Peacock was already charging.
Yeah, and we've talked about this because we talk about the business, and you look at micro, macro goings-ons and trends. A lot of these streamers, you're like Netflix is suffering because it's one thing, and like Hulu is kind of, I don't know, like does anyone? It's kind of like one thing. Maybe it has some live TV, but now you have like Discovery.
You see what's happening to Netflix right now because there's viable competition out there right now,
and it's
they're laying people off. Their numbers are going down for no reason.
So why would you pay for Netflix when you could go to HBO Max, and you have HBO. They're vast, multi.
You look at Disney as well.
And then you have on HBO Max, you have just a plethora of, for someone like me, bunch of indie or critically acclaimed international movies and blah blah blah. Like now you have that even more than just a standard HBO movie set. And then on top of that, you have stuff like Adult Swim is on there. Like HBO, I think Justin, you pointed this out. They're one of the first ones who started engulfing multiple brands and content sources.
Actually, Netflix did it first. I mean, you started getting BoJack Horseman, you started getting reality shows, you started getting all the comedy specials. But
they were Netflix shows. It wasn't like,
well, and I understand that, but here's the thing. And I agree with you because I think that is the way to go. But that umbrella is deceptive because, Byron, those were always Warner Brothers shows. Just like Netflix has always been a Netflix show. And Netflix actually had the ability to get shows from other places, just like those networks and stuff do. And here's what you're going to be left with at the end of the day. You're going to pay as much as you paid for cable, but you're going to get better stuff that's made for you specifically instead of advertisers, which in my opinion is better. But you're still going to be paying as much, and you're going to have HBO, you're going to have Netflix, you're going to have your Disney, Hulu, ESPN package or whatever. They need to put them all together, but it's Hulu all the same company.
Had to do all that.
And you're going to have Paramount. And honestly, I don't know if Paramount Showtime. I don't know if I see anyone else surviving. I don't know if I see Peacock surviving. They might, and actually WWE might be the reason that they do. But Peacock's got to roll stuff in. ABC's got rolling in with Disney. So that basically what that becomes is your networks. You know who's kind of on the outs of that, who's getting screwed, is Fox. After the Disney acquisition of most of it, Fox Television is kind of off in this world by itself. They've got some good TV rights deals and whatnot, but I don't see a way into the streaming world for Fox. And Disney can't buy them up because of monopoly laws. It's an interesting thing. And the whole thing is, I know we're talking about this bigger entertainment world, but people do not see the fact that it really, really affects wrestling. Tony Khan was shitting himself for a while because he had no communication with the new people at Discovery for a while. They got no kind of love at upfronts. And it wasn't until they were going to LA for that show, they started having some conversations. He met with some people, and it turns out that actually it is a big part of their portfolio. The new guys are excited about AEW because they're excited about sports programming and live events in general, because that is one of the things that Netflix doesn't do at all.
Right.
And they feel like this whole the Turner sports portfolio is being strongly eyed to start shifting into HBO Max.
Yeah.
Not creating a separate sports platform, but all of the stuff that Turner has been doing, especially with it, and that Discovery could potentially do in the sports world, HBO Max.
That's going to be so awesome.
Viable sports and live sports feeling to it. NBC's got that now with the stuff they did with the Olympics on Peacock, the stuff they do with wrestling on Peacock. That live sports and entertainment thing is a big thing. And honestly, I feel like WWE going into Peacock saved them.
Does Prime in America show the Premier League?
Yeah, Prime's got some stuff. I feel like Amazon's in trouble, though, man. They've got deep pockets, but they just bought MGM, and a lot of the MGM people are going to take over content-wise. The problem with Prime is that their premium content doesn't feel as premium as Netflix's or even Hulu's or Disney's or HBO's or Paramount's for that matter. Oh my God, that show, The Offer on Paramount, is phenomenal.
It's wild because Amazon has such an in with so many homes because who's someone you have your Amazon Prime subscription, so you get free shipping.
I literally ship enough stuff that Amazon Prime makes it worth it.
Yeah,
and
I watched The Boys.
I didn't ship that much stuff. I love The Boys. I love a lot of stuff on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I liked that
My
show
problem
with the fairies and shit
Prime
too.
I think
is the way they've set it up has become. I don't know. It's like over there, but here.
Yeah.
It's like there's a bog standard Amazon Prime which you're paying like £10 for, which is like $15, and then you have to subscribe for every single. Like, I'm gonna watch like a documentary, and it's like, oh no, you've got to subscribe to this channel, and then that's an extra $10, and it's just like that's just a wrong way to do the kind of.
Over here, you can subscribe, and like, so I don't know about you guys. Casey and I subscribe to Shudder to watch horror movies and Joe Bob, right? And
but
like,
their problem,
you could do
Hulu
that
does
Prime.
it too. So does
you
even
do
Paramount
Showtime
has stuff
Prime.
like that. But the problem is the fact of how their deck is built, how their actual software is built. And you would think a company like Amazon would have it better, but the way I hate it, the navigation of Prime is horrible, and that's what the problem is. Anyway.
So
we can talk about this until the cows come home.
One thing super quick before closing. I think it's really funny. There was someone recently who posted like a 3-page notes tweet about how heartbroken they are, and they're turning their back on AEW because of whatever reasons, blah blah. And it's like, who owes you anything? Like, you don't like a show, cool. People have not liked the show before, and you don't need to cry about it and make it like, you don't have to publicly divorce them and have a whole thing, and it's like all these people get so emotionally invested, and they're emotionally invested in WWE, the E-drones versus the EW stands, blah 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 blah, and they're all virgins who live in the parents' basement and blah blah blah, and only see with blinders on, whatever. And it's like all this stuff, and they're manufacturing all these things, all the talent. And I'm sure the crew, because if you work on a wrestling TV show, it's a small world. So like everyone backstage on these shows, they're all probably friends. And like what you're saying about the cons, it's like, to put it in a way that hopefully people here can understand, you own a house, and someone else sells their house, that's a comparable for you. That helps establish your value. And that's the main interaction between these programs.
Yeah, and these guys need to be good neighbors because they live in the same neighborhood right now, and there's other people coming in looking at buying up the property.
Yeah.
It's that simple. They need to be good neighbors.
What?
Byron's hipsters type folk gentrifying the area.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt bad when
we got a bunch of neckbeards moving in. Listen, anyway, it's been an interesting conversation. We will get back to it more one of these days if we ever do another episode of this. So thanks to Thunder Rosa and Brian Rosa for popping in the chat room and watching the show. As always, love you guys. And for the Professor Casey, the Lucha Gringo, for stopping in and saying some kind of
Casey says Casey's message to everyone for watching and listening is go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And so for my boys Meefloaf and my boy at Byron Fever, I am
stay in the mix,
Justin Outlaw Harvey. And until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.
Penis.